listen, this has been a pretty, is it tumultuous time. It's been,
Spell that for us, Frankie.
Ooh.
been rocky roads for sure, and not the ice cream that Trent's thinking of.
Spell tumultuous, dude. Spell it. Let's do it. If we're doing segments, we're going to, before the voicemail, we're going to do Frankie spells tumultuous.
Tumultuous. T.
The Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all SUV. From your daily drives, weekend trips, and last-minute tea times, they support this show, which is a long one. We have an awesome guest in Dan Hicks, who is an iconic play-by-play broadcaster. He sits next to Kiz. He's been there for Michael Phelps' Olympic calls, which we go through. He's been there through some of the most iconic major championships over the last 30 years that you could possibly remember. We get into the calls. We get into all of it. That's at the end of the show. Before that, we've got much more Tiger Woods news. We got a lot of Augusta and Masters talk with Kiz, who's played in 8 different Masters tournaments. And all of it is brought to you by our presenting sponsor for the show, which is Chevy and the Equinox, Trent.
Yeah, it's just one of those weeks in terms of golf news where there's a lot going on. Obviously, it's a very hot topic everywhere. So, we really get into it. We dive deep on the latest Tiger stuff. There's a bunch of golf entities that put out releases that we thought were pretty interesting. We go into all that. And yeah, it's all brought to you by our friends at Chevrolet. We are a traveling group. We mention it every time, but we really do travel a lot. And every time we get somewhere, we get into a Chevy and we feel more comfortable. We get to where we're going safely. It's got all the space we need for our golf clubs and all of our luggage. We love Chevrolet. They've been with us for a long time, and we love them. We love Chevrolet.
With active trim, the Equinox is at home on dirt and gravel, polished for the course, prepared for the getaway. Also, the big touchscreen puts all your music maps and tech front and center. Chevy Equinox is your do-it-all, go-anywhere SUV. Foreplay, presented by Barstool Sports. We got a great show today. Second half, we have a colleague of Kevin Kisner's, Mr. Dan Hicks, is on the show. He does the NBC play-by-play in the booth for golf with Kiz, and boy, has he been there on the call for all kinds of iconic moments, huge major championships over the last 30 years, huge moments in the Olympics with Michael Phelps, and many more over the years. So we get a bunch of great stories from him. And of course, he's got a great relationship with Kiz. So the whole vibe is fantastic. So stick around for that. We got the whole squad today. We've got Trent Ryan, Frankie Borelli, Kevin Kisner, and myself. We got Ryan Richardson on the 1s and 2s. And we also have a great scramble video out with Lud, our boy Lud, who's he's the man, boys. He's got a lot more personality maybe than people usually see. He's got one of the more aesthetically pleasing golf games that you'll ever see. He's an aesthetically pleasing person. So I think it came out in a fantastic video.
Great video. Just good response as well. People are loving to see this side of Ludvig. So yeah, make sure you go check that out. We're also doing a giveaway there in the comment section. If you comment your favorite part of the video and your favorite Adidas golf shoe, we're picking 3 people at the end of the week to send a pair of golf shoes to you. So
Boom.
Easy thing to enter. Make sure you get involved in it. Awesome stuff. Thanks to Adidas Golf for making it happen, and also just thanks to Ludvig for giving us so much time. Full podcast, full match, just a big old
full
day
lunch.
with the Foreplay boys. Yep, full lunch, the whole deal. So.
He's awesome, so make sure you check that out on YouTube. And like Frankie said, comment your favorite part of the video and your favorite Adidas golf shoes, and you instantly enter a chance to win a free pair of shoes. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Kiz, how are you, sir?
Fantastic. How are you boys?
Doing well. We got to start with updates on Mr. Tiger Woods. First of all, there were a few new pieces of information that came out from, I believe it was the arrest report. He had 2 in his pocket. He had 2 hydrocodone pills, which is a strong opioid used to treat chronic pain. He had 2 pills in his pocket. He told deputies he was looking down at his cell phone and changing the radio station. Didn't see the vehicle slow down in front of him. He noted that due to his prior medical history, it included 7 back surgeries and over 20 operations on his leg. When asked if he had or taken any medication, he said he had a few when he was asked about that. But he, at the end of the day, pleaded not guilty in court. Just a few hours later, Tiger Woods released a statement He said, I know and understand the seriousness of the situation I find myself in today. I am stepping away for a period of time to seek treatment and focus on my health. This is necessary in order for me to prioritize my well-being and work toward lasting recovery. I'm committed to taking the time needed to return to a healthier, stronger, and more focused place, both personally and professionally. I appreciate your understanding and support and ask for privacy for my family, loved ones, and myself at this time, Tiger. There's some other statements and whatnot that I'll get to as well, but any just kind of opening thoughts on the latest from Mr. Woods?
I was pretty surprised by this. There was rumblings that maybe he was going to play. I saw, we saw the rumors he was still hitting golf balls or something like that yesterday, which was insane. Yeah, no, I was surprised by this because I didn't know how the law side of this thing was going to shake out. Obviously not a good situation. We've talked about that at length, but you figured that their play would kind of be to deny everything, go with like the negligent driving, looking down at the phone, looking down at the radio, whatever it might be. But yeah, this almost felt like an admission of obviously a serious issue that he's dealing with and wants to get better at, which we're all happy for. And we want him to be better as a human being and healthier and happier and safer and all of that stuff. But I was just surprised that so quickly that this came out, because now I just don't know what that does, what implications this has on, is there going to be a judge that has to rule on like what the future of Tiger Woods is, and like will they take this statement into account of like clearly he's saying he needs to get help? So like if it was just looking down at a phone, like was he on pills, was it? So you just don't know like what this is going to bring, at least in my brain. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what this does and what it doesn't do, but that was kind of my initial takeaway. Was I was pretty surprised.
Yeah, from the legal standpoint, I read up quite a bit in general. There's a new law. I believe it was enacted in like October, a new Florida law that is related to a refusal to submit a urine test. I think what I saw is Tiger took not one, but two breathalyzers. He blew 000. So he was completely clear on the alcohol front. They suspected DUI. They ran him through some field sobriety tests. They thought the way that he appeared with kind of glazy eyes and lethargic and such was enough for the police to suspect DUI. He refused the urine test, however. So from an evidence standpoint, I think it's a little bit of an uphill battle for our prosecutors. However, the refusal does come with, I think it's like a 12-month automatic suspension of license. I think there's some community service potentially involved. I'm with you, Frankie, on like you never know what direction they're going to go. If they could go with, well, since he refused to do the urine test, they're not going to have much evidence. So he's just, I believe he like demanded, or by pleading not guilty, you're requesting a trial, to be judged by, your peers and a judge and all of that. So from a legal standpoint, just kind of getting random texts from my buddies who are lawyers, which is always funny on the group text during these types of things of like, here's what you need to know, boys. This part with the pills means this and that. I don't know how much credibility all that kind of carries. But, he did admit that, he thinks he's got to take some time to get things right. I, just from my personal stance on the whole thing, very happy to see it. I think, when this is the fourth kind of public car incident that the man has had, I think none of them have ever been attributed to alcohol. I think, the one from 2017, which all the camera footage, all that, about as humiliating as it can get, was a concoction of a handful of different drugs that he had taken. It wasn't alcohol. There was no conclusive evidence from the 2021 incident, but if you look, I think he was going 80 and a 45. There were no real skid marks or signs of braking. So it's like, were you falling asleep, were you lethargic, whatever it might be. Point being, it appears to be much more, painkiller, something along those lines related than alcohol. Alcohol hasn't been related at all. President Trump weighed in and said, like, he's not alcohol. He doesn't have an alcohol issue. He's a man who's in pain. And so sort of, I think the prevailing storyline at this point is that Tiger Woods, with his last, 20 plus years of history with injuries, has taken strong painkillers. In this case, the hydrocodone has taken strong painkillers so that he's able to kind of mute the pain on a day-to-day basis. I think a lot of people probably underestimate how much physical pain he truly goes through on a day-to-day basis just to walk, just to get out of bed, his back, his knee, his ankle, all of it. And that he, like unfortunately many people before him, has at times developed a dependence on painkillers to handle all of that pain. And that's a really dangerous road to go down. There's a ton of speculation around that. There's a ton of assumption around that. But with the pills in his pocket, with the history, with the injuries, with some of the quotes that have come out, I just personally am like, I think it's fantastic that Tiger's taking, the steps that it requires. It's not easy. Far too many people know folks, myself included, insanely close to my family, who have had issues with opioids and painkillers, and it's a very, very dark place. And if that was involved, like you're kind of saying, Frank, it almost felt with the statement like there's at least some admission that is occurring. It truly feels like it takes a committed, very serious, all-in effort to recover from all of that. That is one of the terms that he included was work toward lasting recovery. Kind of stuck out to me. So, I'm happy that he's doing it. I'm obviously, I would have got hyped up if it was like Tiger came out at the end of the week and was like, I'm playing the Masters. Don't get me wrong. I would have been all hyped up. But overall, when you really look at the man, 50 years old, what a lot of this looks like, I do think it takes a really committed effort. And so I'm happy to see that Tiger Woods has taken that step.
Yeah. And you also have to imagine that I think the body cam stuff is going to come out eventually. That's usually how this goes. I don't know how that ends up coming out. I don't know if it has to come out, but like with a guy like Tiger Woods, that stuff usually comes out. And I'm not saying that that's the reason that he's like, oh, maybe, a slight admission of guilt in the press release, but like, I would imagine that's going to come out and it's not going to look in his favor. Like that 2017 stuff came out and it was like, oh man, like that's clearly something's going on there. So I think down the road, eventually that body cam stuff is going to come out. I did read that it was all captured on camera because that's how it goes now. So I just think that eventually it's going to become pretty clear what was going on. I mean, they found the pills on him, he turned the car over. So I actually do think it's a step in the positive direction where he's just like, yeah, I think I got a problem, as opposed to the old Tiger where he's just like, everything's fine. I'm going to recover. It's going to be okay. I'm going to make a comeback. Everybody just wait. Like him just being like, yeah, I got a problem and I'm going to try to figure it out. It's yet to be seen whether he's going to take the appropriate steps. And I hope that he does. And I echo everything that everyone has said so far, but I actually did view it as a step in a positive direction.
All right. You ready for me?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like the amount of time it took for the statement to come out. What is it today? 4 or 5 days after. It really felt like his team, got around him. There was obviously plenty of time, plenty of discussion about the direction, what they needed to do for Tiger, instead of rushing out next day or 2 days after and, party lining it, like Trent said, where they always say, I'm going to get back. I'm going to do whatever I got to do to be back. I really feel like this time it was more thought out, more of a team effort. I haven't talked to any of the guys on the team since Saturday, I guess, about, direction they were going to go. But I really, really liked the way that happened, because it felt like from the statement that it wasn't just Tiger trying to tell everybody how he could get back and be better. It's like he really the part I felt in the statement was like he understands he needs some help, and I'll be there to support him. I'm assuming all y'all will be too, and I'm assuming everybody will be, because anybody that's going through that is terrible. And if you've ever had anyone that has gone through that, it's a brutal, awful, long process of trying to get back. And who knows how long it'll take, and who knows if you can actually stay with it. So I felt like he finally had some time to sit down and realize how big of a screw up this was. Along those lines, and I'll probably segue into our next point without knowing the whole timeline, is I wasn't too jumping off the moon with all the other statements that came out, like the PGA Tour and the Masters and the CEO of, they wait till him, and it almost felt like they they were pushing him to make a statement before they could make a statement, right?
Yeah, they all kind of came out. It felt like almost like you're playing the game Waterfall. As soon as Tiger Woods
Right.
put his statement out, bang,
Right.
bang, bang, they were ready. I'll read all of them. Augusta National Chairman Fred Ridley, he said, Augusta National Golf Club and the Masters Tournament fully support Tiger Woods as he focuses on his well-being. Although Tiger will not be joining us in person next week, his presence will be felt here in Augusta. PGA Tour CEO Brian Rollout. Tiger Woods is one of the most influential figures the sports world has ever known. Over the last year, I have come to deeply appreciate Tiger not only for his impact on the game, but for his friendship and the perspective he has shared with me as I joined the golf industry. My thoughts are with him and his family as he takes this step, for which he has, again, my full respect and support. The official PGA Tour statement. Tiger Woods is a legend of our sport whose impact extends far beyond his achievements on the course. But above all else, Tiger is a person, and our focus is on his health and well-being. Tiger continues to have our full support as he takes this important step. Those were sort of the three main statements that I saw.
I don't know what other stance they were supposed to take, but it's definitely reading that again shocking with I don't know if it's because of the timeline that Kiz is kind of laying out, where it's like, all right, he's already made his announcement. He's put out his release. He's on a road to recovery. He knows that road, and he's going to take that path. So now you've kind of softened the blow on terms of in the eyes of the Masters, the PGA Tour, the CEO, the whole entire deal. But if they had to jump on a microphone the day that happened, similar to what we had to do, you got to think there's no way they were going to be supporting him.
That's my whole point. Is like the whole thing feels so like a concerted effort. Like everybody's all in the same, like, hey, Mark Steinberg, I know you got to put a statement out. We're just waiting on yours. This is kind of what we're thinking. And that's how the world works. But, foreplay is getting killed for having an opinion, 2 hours later. And, you wait 5 days. And if Riggs says that right after all these posts, does anyone even care anymore? And I just think the world's going to screw
immediately up. Is what all those statements essentially say. They don't mention the DUI once. They don't mention condemnation of Tiger once. And they say, like they're thinking of Tiger and he's got full support. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. Timeline definitely matters. All of that matters. And I'm with you. It does. Like it was clearly there's communication going on because it's, like that. Nobody else knows like precisely when Tiger's going to release a statement, except if you're in the know. And Fred Ridley and Brian Rollout, I mean, those are probably the two most powerful human beings in the world of golf, right? I mean, I don't know if you could maybe USGA president, maybe RNA president, maybe Tiger Woods, but like outside of that, those are the most powerful people in the world of golf. So it did feel pretty coordinated. Like that, the timing wise, they all came out right after Tiger Woods put his statement out.
Were you surprised at all, Riggs, by what they said? I mean, think about the history with Augusta National and making Tiger Woods step up on podiums and like apologize for personal relationship issues. Like, I mean, now this guy's flipping cars and he's in his fourth, whatever it is, however many number of car situations. Are like, we love him. Not like we will do anything we can to support him.
The press conference that the Augusta National chairman gave in 2010 on Wednesday before he teed off was unimaginably critical of Tiger Woods. And I do think that history has looked upon that period as a little bit crazy how bad Tiger got dragged during that. I mean, he was on the front page of, I think, the New York Post more consecutive days than 9/11 was after that entire thing occurred, which, like you said, Frank, I mean, it's not, you don't condone the behavior during that time.
That was excessive and outrageous. I think everyone with a brain could realize like that was a concerted effort to like just beat down a guy that was easy to kind of just like keep throwing punches at him.
And yeah, I would say like based on the heat that I got from what kind of everything that transpired on Friday, based on the quickness and like the ferocity with which every person on the internet was ready to like condemn and burn Tiger at the stake for a very bad choice that he made, which was a very dangerous choice that deserves punishment for sure. To see these statements from these three huge figures in the game and the biggest entities in the game that, again, didn't mention a single word of condemnation, didn't mention a single thing about the accident or the DUI suspicion charge. And every single one of them exercised not just full support, but the words, and I singled out these words: legend, friend, partner, deeply appreciated, most influential, and fully support. Fully support was used by everybody. Honestly, Frankie, I was a little bit surprised because it feels like if you're gonna have that overall stance in the whole thing, from my experience, you should get insane backlash for that. Is sort of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. I mean, it's such a hard thing to have an opinion on, because there's so many different reasons why, like on my side of it, and like why I was so angry about it was like, you're coming at it from a human aspect of why you're angry, just a guy that is making the wrong decisions. And there's a lot of things that go into what those wrong decisions. And I'm not naive to addiction, and I'm not ignoring how hard of a life that is, and type of recovery that's going to be. And I think the other side of it, as a golf fan, the anger that came out of our guy, the guy that we want to, I mean, look, he's behind me, like on 7 different photos on my wall, like the guy that we want to just like watch play good golf, right? Like, is just like fucking up. And he's just, as a fan, we're like, no, like stop, drive from your house to the golf course so we can watch you play the game of golf. Like, why are we dealing with this again? And like, it's that anger that just like fuels and fuels and fuels. And for that, and to see like the entities, like you said, kind of just be like, I don't know if it's because of the position they're in, because of how influential he is right now in the current game of golf with all the things he's a part of. Like if their hands were tied behind their back, where like, we have to support this because of how, how important he is right now in this new world of the PGA Tour. I know he always has been, but just very shocked, because like that anger is still valid. It's not like just because 5 days have gone by, he didn't make the wrong choices. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I was so surprised by these statements. Like, even whatever statement Tiger makes, like, still stunning to be like, yep, we're all good.
There is a bit of an awkward part of condemnation where like people kind of look at you and they say, well, you're not perfect either. So that you avoid that part of it when you just fully support. Now, there's not a lot of room for empathy in that avenue, but I can see, because we do look back on that press conference that Riggs alluded to, where it's like, all right, dude, like maybe take a deep breath. So you gotta walk a line of like condemnation, empathy, but you also don't want to be the fully like, you fucked up, you're an idiot, you're the worst, because then it's like, all right, like let's take a step back here. So you're kind of fighting, we're all kind of fighting both battles. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In terms of what opinion to have.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I even after the podcast, I mean, I know we went pretty hard at each other, and definitely like the way that it's been taken on social media with, it's like, it's just all anti-Riggs, and like, you definitely have a nice pot of haters to now go through for your new series, which is obvious. You could take pros out of anything, right? Like, I mean, we could go through those DMs like you wouldn't believe, but like, it's not like, if you could see this now, if you could see that like this take is being brought out by like the biggest entities in all of golf, who have like people getting millions and millions of dollars to put out statements, if they think that that's the correct statement to take, like, you have to be able to have some sort of rational thinking brain and be like, well, Riggs wasn't on the totally wrong side of it, right? Like, I mean, like, just saying that you support a guy for being a fan of him isn't like the craziest thing of all time.
Yeah. And one of the takes that I think about is like when he got in the wreck the day of, right? How many people jumped on? We can't treat him differently because it's Tiger Woods, right? This was some Joe Blow on the side of the street that did this, he'd be going to jail, whatever. I read that from everyone. But suddenly, 5 days later, it sure looks like a lot of the biggest entities in the world are treating him differently than if this would have happened to Trent and he was the last player in the field at the Masters or never done anything on the PGA Tour. Would these same levels of support be coming out? I don't know. It just really kind of mind boggles me about the world and how many people have opinions and how they form these opinions. It's just interesting to me. It's just like you can't have it both ways, right? On Friday, it's the end of the world that, we're going to treat him differently because he's Tiger Woods. In the press conference, remember they're asking the sheriff, like, how are we going to treat him in jail? He's got to be like everyone else. But then on, Wednesday, it's like PGA Tour and the Masters are like, we fully support this guy no matter
Full
what.
support.
Right. And it's just like, I get it. I mean, I understand what everybody's got to do to make their organizations and brands be what they are, but can't have it both ways.
I for sure, I spent last night pacing around my condo being like, now what the fuck is this? Where I'm like, everyone's saying the same thing that I was saying on Friday. So it's like that part of me made me feel a little crazy. But to Frankie, I think you were making the point of like how nuanced it is with, I think that in today's world, we're all trying to be a lot more sensitive to if you have an alcohol issue, you're just a drunk, fuck you, you should be alienated from society. We're all trying to be like, well, actually, addiction, it's a lot more in the chemistry of the brain.
Yeah.
We're trying to pick you up as a group and help you while also saying that you did some really fucked up, shitty things based upon your alcohol. Drugs, the same deal. We're all trying to be like, that's fucked up that you're taking so many pain meds and then making horrible decisions, or you can't think clearly, so you're clipping other cars and flipping over and you could kill pedestrians or anyone else. But also, we're like, if we're trying to help you as a society, we can't just condemn you. We need to be like empathetic towards you or whatever. I think we all kind of fight that fight. And then you also start to get into like, okay, but how genuine is it? If there's really a hardcore issue, then like, goddamn, I think we feel a lot more worse than, we do. And from my vantage point, I think that issue stems from like, and I do look at it as like that motherfucker sacrificed so much. He didn't have a normal childhood. He didn't have a normal toll on his body. He hasn't been able to live as a normal person. So of course he's messed up. Then you get the pain. His reaction to that pain was to take these pain meds, these opioids, which are designed and they get people addicted. So I feel bad for the guy. So I'm going to kind of protect him more than others would. Everybody doesn't have to have that stance, but man, do I think trying to balance all those things with like, is his legal team just genius? So they're leaning into it so that he gets off more. Like, you could think all of those things. There's probably some of that all at play. And I do think there's a bit of a hive mind that goes on. I think that right away, everyone kind of wants to be on the side that the internet is on, which is like, fuck Tiger Woods. He's putting everybody in danger, which is true. He's putting a lot of people in danger. You shouldn't do that. You should be punished for that and condemned for that. But it becomes insanely unpopular, as your boy proved in spades, to like not have that same take everybody has and be like, well, hold on, actually, like I'm going to defend the guy, not just because like part of it's because he's done us favors and I love the man and I admire him and the golf. Part of it's because I feel empathy towards him. Part of it's like, I don't want the foreplay name to be pilot on this guy that we have loved forever. Like there's a lot going on to it. And so I do think the farther away we get from it, the stances that people have are going to land a lot closer to what these statements that came out were. And I do like, if there's, Tiger Woods is a billionaire. He's one of the most famous people on the planet. He's going to have resources that are going to allow him to probably face less legal trouble than Joe Blow or the last guy in the field for sure. I'm not saying that's fair. I'm telling you I'm telling anybody listening, that's just the way it is. That's the way that the world works, has always worked. So yeah, it's interesting watching it all develop. It's crazy how different the tone is and the temperature is now than it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I get it. I get that people fight with, should we be feeling bad for the guy? Should we be pissed at the guy? Can we be a little bit of both? I get that. And I guess I just would say, I don't think there's like a clear answer on it.
There's definitely not a clear answer. That's a damn true. I mean, the whole thing is shocking. I didn't think I'd wake up being like, fuck Tiger Woods. I've loved Tiger Woods my whole entire life. He does everything for us. The only reason we have a brand is because of Tiger Woods. If you think about it, like his existence is why we get to do what we get to do on a daily basis. And even as we became a thing, he kind of helped us go through all these different stages of foreplay, whether it be just giving him a high five at the President's Cup in freaking Australia, or doing like a 5-second interview with Riggs in a locker room that like went completely viral at a time where things weren't going viral. And it's just like, he's always been a part of this. And I didn't think that I would wake up to see this news and say, I fucking am mad at this guy and he deserves to get punished and all these things. But you just life happens, and it's amazing what side you're going to fall on. And I completely see Riggs' side. I don't 100% agree with it. He doesn't 100% agree with mine. And that's the way that life works. It's going to be completely normal to have conversations like that. It doesn't have to be this like animosity, like Riggs is horrible and the brand sucks. Like there's been so much negativity towards just us having our own takes, which really does suck to have to read all that when we're just having a conversation, which is what everyone else is doing across America about this whole thing. As a fan of Tiger Woods, the thing that's making me the most mad is like, I would love to watch him play the game of golf, but if playing the game of golf puts him in so much pain that he's putting other people's lives in danger, like that, I don't need to see him hit another golf ball. And I didn't think I'd ever say that. Like if you go back and listen to the shows of us talking about Tiger Woods, we're like, this guy's going to come back and win fucking majors, man. Like 3 weeks ago, we were saying he's going to win the Masters again. We're talking about Justin Rose and Phil Mickelson winning a major, like at his age. It's something just clicked inside me where it's like, again. And if the again came because you're just trying to hit golf balls and it's putting you in that much pain, give it up. I'd rather you as the person that is thankful for all the things I just stated as to why we are where we are, what he's done for us, what he's done for the game, what he's done for the sports world. I am okay with you never hitting another golf ball, dude. You know what I mean? Like that's okay with me now, because if this is the alternative, man, that's crazy. If this is the alternative to just hitting wedge shots at Augusta, enough is enough. So I never thought I'd get to that point, boys, but like seeing a car flipped on its side on a residential street was like enough for me to see. I'm not an anti-Tiger Woods fan anymore. This thing's still hanging up on my wall back here. It's just like at some point, enough is enough. And I think that's a fair side to take as well.
I agree. I kind of felt that as well. Of like, I don't, if you can avoid all of this pain that you're feeling, or mute it naturally without having to, rely and depend so much on other what appear to be dangerous things that you, Tiger, are not great at handling, that are putting other lives in danger, you in danger, leading to car accidents, leading to bad stuff, bad moments, humiliation, then like just get to a healthy enough standpoint where you could go to Charlie's events, you can go to Sam's events, you could be around with your kids, you could be around the game, you could go to PGA Tour events, you could be around the Ryder Cup, all of that without trying to win golf tournaments. I think I'm actually okay with that.
I would actually ask Kiz a question. Do you get the sense, being around him a little bit, that all of this is to play competitive golf again? Or is it more to just be in the sport of golf, helping it with the PGA Tour, trying to grow with TGL? Like, what side do you see of him that keeps him going to all these things?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both, but everybody wants to play. That's all Tiger knows, right? He's always known since he was 7 years old or whatever, 5 years old. It's competitive golf. He's the most competitive guy I've ever met in every facet of the game. Wants to beat everyone. Now, I have seen like a little bit of the worm turn in the last year or two to where he's like trying to help guys in the TGL building or super involved on the board level and trying to help the future product of the PGA Tour, and that's taken up a lot of his time. But it's even like me. Like, I'm not playing nearly as much competitive golf, but like when we get done this podcast, I got two guys wanting to go gamble right now. I'm not going to miss that. Like, I'm going to go out there and gamble and play and have fun, and that's what I want to do, even though I'm not playing competitively anymore. And if I shoot 72, like, I'm going to be pissed and want to go practice tomorrow. Like, that's just what we do, and I'm not nearly the level of Tiger Woods, who's trying to come back and win the Masters. So 100%, I think, he's trying to get ready to play again all the time. I think every day after an injury or surgery, he wakes up trying to figure out what it's going to take to get back. I think that drives him. I think that we've seen that in his, preparation, how he works out so much, how he does training. Everything is always based on being the best Tiger can be and competing. That's what all he's ever known, and that's what I think he's getting ready for.
It's so interesting.
They had like an aerial shot of his house. It's insane. Like what happens to him, obviously, after something like this happens. There's like drone shots of his door being open and all these things, but they're showing his house, and it's like, it's the backyard, an unbelievable house, obviously, but it's a backyard of a guy that is essentially in training. Did you like, it's a pool with like steps inside the middle of the pool. and it's like he can be doing like Stairmasters while he's in the pool. Then he's got like a 40-yard dash thing to like run on a track. It's not a 50-year-old's golfer's backyard, it's a training facility, and it's a peek into how serious he takes it. Now, obviously it could be for the other kids as well, but like you could tell that this guy lives and breathes, and obviously it puts him to a point where it's like, past no return, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. Kids make such a good. I mean, that's why you're such a good addition to the show. Of like, we could speculate about that, and like, I think each of us have tried to kind of make that point at times. Of like, I think from a sports fan standpoint, or even like people in politics, bitch, like we never understand why people don't know when to be like, no, dude, you've done it. You're the man. Go out on top. We don't want to see you struggling late in life. You got. You could sports what I mostly cling it to, but like we don't really comprehend as non-competitors on that level that, like you said, Tiger Woods' whole life became wired about hitting the best golf shots you could possibly hit and beating other people. That's when he's actually at home and comfortable. It's not when he's recovering from surgery. It's not when he's trying to get his body right. It's not when he's trying to be like necessarily the best, something that he's not, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's when the motherfucker is preparing to beat people at golf. That's when he's at home.
Yeah, and it consumes your life. It consumes your dreams. It consumes what you think about all the time, even while you're eating, drinking. When I'm going out to dinner 5 years ago, I'm thinking about what I'm doing the next day. Well, how am I going to play better? What do I need to work on? What does this swing feel? All y'all have gone through that, but to the level of the greatest of all time, it literally consumes your life. And I always tell this to, an accountant or a dentist or y'all podcasters, social media. What if tomorrow you woke up and they were like, nope, you don't have a podcast anymore. You don't have to make a series. You don't have to make a social media post. And then you start thinking about how much time you spend on preparing to do all those things. Like that's a lot of time that you have open that you can no longer do that. But you can't just shut it off. There's no way you can shut it off. If Riggs woke up tomorrow and they said you don't get to run a podcast anymore, you're still going to think about all the shit you need to be doing to do a podcast for like a long freaking time. Time.
I mean, for sure. Podcasting, for sure. I think about it nonstop. I keep a notes app open on my phone after every show we do where I just constantly put stuff in there that we need to talk about. Social, I could do without. I'd delete that shit and throw it in the water in a heartbeat.
Sure?
But you're right.
I feel that would be healthy. You should try it actually, even without.
I think I said that. I said that on the Yak where I was like, Frankie and Trent know, like, I hate social media. It's the worst thing in the world. So I could do without that. But I agree. Like even the YouTube videos, like I love, like, dude, when we like flew down and we were able to film with Lud last week, when we honestly, we first started filming with you kids, like just walking like that week leading up to that, when you and I were on meetings about what are we going to raise for charity. I'm sitting down meeting with Pashley and Piners about how many tee times you need to rope off. Do you think we're going to have fans? Are we going to be able to supply food and beverage to the fans? They need rest. Like, just like you get consumed by like, how can we do the best version of what we do? It's your whole life. And it has been for 10 years. Like we're entering year 10 of having foreplay. And it's like you walk into every pro shop I walk into and I look at merchandise and think like, what could we do better? That's a fucking unreal. Do we have anything like that? Like, so yeah, if you just took that away, I outside of the social, if you just took all that away, you're right. Where it would be like, I don't know what the fuck you would do with your time all day, every day.
I mean, I'm not even playing anymore, but I'm still like in the mirror catching myself swinging or like, man, I wonder if I kept my head up a little bit longer, would I not have that feeling anymore when I hit that really shitty shot? I mean, it's just all I know, right? And I'm sure a dentist or a accountant's like, I wonder if I put that item there, would all that add up quicker? And I wouldn't have, I'm sure they do that too. And a dentist is like, I wonder if I did this, root canal this way, it would go faster and I could get better at it.
Dude, my dad retired. He's a dentist. Like his kids knows my dad well. Like my dad retired like 4 years ago or 3 years ago or something like that. And like he's looking into getting a bartending job in Colorado because he's like, I don't know what the fuck to do all day. He's like calling me way more than he ever used to call me. He's like planting bushes in the yard at their place in Colorado. My mom's like, yeah, did you see your dad's new trees? I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Like he just doesn't know what to do all day.
My dad's still making deliveries to Hempstead, Long Island for $14. The other day I went to the restaurant. I'm like, where's my dad? Oh, he's making a delivery. It was a large pie, like just one. Like he's 67 years old.
He
What
probably made it himself too.
What are we doing? He's 67 years old. Like, what are we doing, dude?
I will say Gary Ryan took to retirement pretty well, but he loves it. He loves it. But yeah, it's just thinking about Tiger Woods. This is a guy they're going to be talking about in 300 years. Like the most interesting life. And I don't say that in a positive or a negative way. It's just like, fuck, man, what a life that guy has lived and continues to live. And he's still the main point of like tons of speculation. It's nuts, dude. At the end of the day, I really do have a lot of empathy for a guy like that. Cause it's got to be impossible.
I mean, I must have said in conversation over the last couple of days since this happened, like Tiger Woods has a horrible life, and he has had a horrible life. I don't know if you really showed someone the entire, from beginning to end, there's a ton of highs and the lows are unbelievably low. I don't know how many people would switch with him, which is that crazy. You know what I mean?
I've had that stance on this show before where I was like, I would not trade lives with Tiger Woods, where it's just, which seems insane. The guy's a billionaire. He's won 15 majors, 82 tour events, one of the most famous people in the world. I just think like most people live like a happier life on a day-to-day basis.
Happiness. I mean, in just general level of happiness of life. He's healthy.
Sitting on that couch.
He's happy, right? You're a great example too of like doing this podcast. You've got the amount of money you've accumulated in the game of golf. If you sent that to me right now, I don't know that I'd be on the podcast. Like but like you have that drive where you're so obsessed with the game of golf. You might be done playing to the level that you used to be, but like you still got to be a part of it. Even though you've got everything else in life, you're just like, I got to talk about the game. Like you can't turn it off, which is such an example to your point of like, no matter what happens, you still, that thing's not stopping in that brain. It's not going to stop. That love's never going to, that flame's never going to burn out.
Yeah. I don't have to do either like this or NBC, but what would I do?
Right.
Like what would you do? I'm not going to go hit millions of golf balls to play 7 tournaments this year. But I still like the game and want to be around the guys. I want to be involved in the cups and all those things for the rest of my career. It's just like, this is all I know. Right. I'm not going to go start building houses or, running a lawn business or a tree business. I don't know shit about that. I know golf and I know what the best players in the world do. And I like being around them and I like talking trash. That's my favorite thing to do in the world and being a team. And so, yeah, this is perfect.
You know who's amazing with this example is Dave Portnoy. He just put up a video today on the beach, and he always says that he's said for the last 20 years, if he got enough money, he's going to make $1 bajillion doing the thing he loves, and then he's going to be on a beach, and that's all he cares about. Just you'll never find him again. And He says he's doing that currently right now. I think even he doesn't realize just how much he's still doing. Like subconsciously. Like, all right, you're living on a beach. Like, dude, you just wrote a book. you just wrote a book. He's doing an audio book. He's in our Internet Invitational chat right now, going through the list. As we're talking, I'm looking down at my phone. Dave Portnoy is texting Bob Does Sports and us about Internet Invitational listings. He's on that beach that he's saying, like, I'm just going to be the castaway guy. I've made it. I told you guys I'm just going to sunset into this beach. Sure, he is physically on a beach. He's not stopping. He's flying around with Austin. He can't turn it off, dude. He's made however much millions of dollars. He owns all these things. He can't stop. He's talking about mutt, and he's going to UConn basketball games. He's doing Men of Honor with Jeff Nadeau and freaking Rico Bosco. He can't stop because it's a part of him, and that's what makes Barstool go number one, and that's what makes him who he is, right? Like he could come on a show and be like, I'm done. It's like, dude, you don't realize you've done more than most people are doing from Monday to Friday than you realize.
Oh yeah, I've talked about it before, but like, if you gave me $1 billion, I would stop, and that's what makes me not get $1 billion. You know what I mean? Like, if you gave me $1 billion, I'd be like, oh, I am going to disappear, and that's the exact thing that means I will never get $1 billion. And these guys that we're talking about, to varying levels, they're go and get it, and they will never stop regardless of what they get. So it makes them great.
Well, kids, I mean, Trent didn't have $1 billion, and he went to Hawaii and didn't speak to anyone for 4 straight days.
That's true. That does not shock me at all.
Dude, he said he didn't.
Not one bit.
At one point, he went to the beach and just went, just to hear if his voice worked.
Yeah. No, I would go a long time without speaking to another human being, and that's kind of how I like it.
I remember during like the COVID days, Trent would be like in New York City and we would record the pod on Wednesday and then we record the pod again on Monday. And Trent would be like, I'll be honest, this is the first time I've heard my voice since the last time we did the podcast. He'd be like,
I remember being a guest on one of them and he was like, yeah, I haven't left my apartment since our last podcast 5 days ago. And I'm like, what? You haven't left? How big is your apartment? 400 square feet and you haven't left?
I'm amazed by how much I can get by on like limited interaction, limited movement, limited everything. It's, some would say it's a positive, some would say it's a negative. It really depends on who you are. But
$1 billion, you're gone, dude.
Gone.
See ya.
Gone.
See ya, boys.
I'm gone. I'm like, we've done okay, and I'm like, well, maybe. No, it's like, it's just different levels to it, man. It really is.
Bro, you could retire, just go to Iowa. You know what I'm saying? You'd be fine. You would be fine.
I love doing that. I really like the video we just did with Lud. Like I had such a ball. Like kids we're going full circle, but like I wouldn't give that up for anything. Like that was so much fun to meet that guy, to play with him, to see him up close, to get to know who he really is. Like that's a really great part of this job is we, all of our friends who are golf fans and they watch these guys on TV and we're the same way. We've just gotten to this point where we get the access to talk to them and getting to know them, like getting to know Kiz all those years ago. And now that he's a part of the show, like that was the most fun. Like that's what really keeps me going. Cause learning about these guys and how their personalities are and what makes them tick and what do they like? What do they not like? That's the fun part for me.
Dude, I was so great during all my talks with Kiz as we were trying to figure out like what would this look like if we do this. And Kiz just made the point multiple times where he's like, yeah, my NBC job is incredible. I love working with them. They treat me so well. He was like, it's like 20 days of work a year. I simply have to have something else to do every day. He's like, I don't, he goes, Riggs, go look on the PGAtour.com. Like, I don't necessarily need the money. I need something to do every day. And this is what I love to do. And so like, just kind of looking at that is so true. Like you're 40, you're 41 or something like that years old. It's like you're still young. You're in like the first half of your life nowadays, and like that's just you need something to do for the rest of your life. I think about it with playing hockey my whole life of like most people that I played hockey with, they get through college at 22, 23 years old. They try to play pro for a year or two. And then most of those people know nothing else in the entire world and they get into coaching hockey. And like that's what they do for the next 30, 40 years of a life. They like coach hockey. They do developmental camps in hockey. They maybe get into hockey media depending on how far they went. So yeah, I think you kind of see that through line with a lot of different people and a lot of different things. And I can't even imagine, to bring it back to Tiger Woods, to be at that level. Like, God, I think he really does just think all day of like, he looks at Justin Rose. He looks at Phil won a major championship at 50 years old. And he's got to be like, I can still get out there and produce magic here and there. And it's got to just drive him nuts that his body won't let him. And it unfortunately leads to some unfortunate stuff is kind of, I don't know, the way to look at it, I think.
I was going to just to your point about my, people always ask me on the NBC thing, like, you don't have to do a lot of prep or anything. And I was like, well, I work 20 days a year. But my prep is literally what I do every day already. Like I check the app and I see what they're shooting, all my friends. And I'm like, why do you make a bogey on that hole? Oh, the wind's into their face. Oh, yeah, when I played that hole, I hit driver 3-iron when it was into the wind instead of driver 7-iron. And I'm like, that is the fucking prep for my job. Literally, That's what I have to do is explain to you why that hole's harder today than it was yesterday on national TV. So it's not taking up any more of my brain or time than it already did every day of my life. You're a grown man making better decisions about what you put in your body. Are you paying attention to what goes on it? Here's the thing. Using grooming products with harsh chemicals is like washing your car with dish soap. Sure, it gets the job done, but you're stripping away the protection and doing long-term damage. Most guys think they have to choose. We don't. Products that work are products that are better for you. Every man Jack says that's BS. Their clean, naturally derived formulas have none of the garbage the other guys use. No parabens, no dyes, no shortcuts, and they're incredibly effective. Their coconut-based body wash cleans while hydrating. We all want to be hydrated. Their new 48-hour antiperspirant has unbelievable glide and staying power. I got staying power too, boys. Do you?
I don't actually. We have pathetic staying power.
I do want to jump in and say that I take Everyman Jack on the road, and I literally I put it in my DOP kit or whatever people call. Some people call it a toiletry bag. Some people call it. I think Frankie calls it a bag. I don't know if you have to bleep that, but I use Everyman Jack on the road everywhere, and I use it at home. It's great. I really do love this stuff. It's good for you.
It's awesome. It's really good. I agree.
Everyman Jack, clean, effective, made for men. What more could you want? Start your new routine and find Everyman Jack at Walmart, Target, Amazon, Kroger, or wherever men's personal care products are sold.
File your way with Tax Act. You could file yourself with step-by-step guidance and get your max refund guaranteed. Add expert assist to get unlimited answers to your tax questions. Let them file for you with expert full service. Hand off your taxes and let them do the work. It's tax season, my friend, and who better to turn to than Tax Act?
Yeah, I filed my taxes with Tax Act a couple weeks ago, and the feeling of relief that I got once I knew that I was done with them, once I knew that they were done correctly because the experts at Tax Act helped me out, it's just a great feeling. And we're really getting down to it now. The next couple of weeks, tax day is coming up. Use Tax Act. They know what they're doing. Hand it off to them. Use the experts. Do whatever, but use them, and you are going to feel much better, and then you're just done with them. Get them done now.
Get them done. Let them file for you with expert full assist. Hand off your taxes. Let them do the work. We got to get these things over with. The Tax Act, their credentialed U.S.-based experts are there to help. Tax Act, let's get them over with. Golf is hard, but protein is easy with one Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers made with 18 grams of protein. Those are the building blocks of life. Only 3 grams of sugar to deliciously fuel your golf game. This is our go-to snack on that golf course. If it's hot out, guess what? That little cooler next to your cart, on the side of your cart, throw a couple of these in there. They stay nice, cold. They hold their shape. That little contrast when you chew into them, bite into them when you're hungry out there in the middle of the round. It's over for us. We don't have to overeat in the middle of the round. We're trying to stay athletic. We got Adidas going on now. Make sure you get the Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers. These things are delicious.
They're so good for the golf course. I was watching back the Ludvig video, and I ate one on the third hole. I remember that was an early tee time that day. I was starving. We woke up and we had to be going. Didn't have time to grab breakfast, whatever. We had a couple of 1 bars on us. I ate one and I was good the rest of the round until we got lunch that Ludvig paid for. But out there on the golf course, it's what you need in the morning or when you're in the middle of a round of golf. They're so delicious and they fill you up and you're just good to go. So golf course, airport, wherever, these things are perfect.
Perfect. Protein perfected. That's why they're perfect. Only one Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers is made with Reese's Peanut Butter. Buy one Reese's Peanut Butter Lovers protein bar on Amazon. Protein perfected.
Speaking of money, I've got a top 10 for you guys. I haven't done a top 10 in quite a minute.
Oh, geez.
You guys mind?
Sure.
No. Let's do it.
I'll throw out the top 10, and you guys will kind of go one by one, unless you want to keep it Riggs and Trent, or do you want Kiz to have a insight into this?
I think he should have an insight into it for sure.
It's the Masters all-time money list, and I would assume you guys can get all 10 guys. I would be very impressed if you can go 1 to 10 in order.
Okay.
So
you think we could get all 10 guys, eh?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. The Masters all-time money list, top 10. I'm going to start with Trent Ryan. Throw out a name there. The Masters all-time money list.
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods is number 2. Tiger Woods number 2 at $9,642,636. 26 starts for Mr. Eldrick Tiger Woods.
Is this like adjusted for inflation? I know that's a ridiculous question, but
it's not.
Okay.
Ridiculous question.
Well, then you'd be. The reason is like if Jack
that would
Nicklaus
have to be in the fucking
most.
headline, Riggs.
Yeah, the inflation thing. Listen, I've done this top 10 thing, Kiz, a bunch, and I've always gotten the numbers wrong. I'm the one with the numbers, and like we'll put out the top 10, and every comment's like, "This is wrong." It's like I have inflation in there. It's crazy. This is a clean cut. How many dollars have been won?
This list that we're doing, it's going to be wrong.
Yeah. Phil Mickelson
coming in at number 1, the all-time money winner at Augusta National, 32 starts, $9,860,317. Kevin Kisner, give me the third player.
Do you want number 3 or just any number?
I would
any
love
player?
number 3 if you can give it to me.
Rory McIlroy.
That's correct.
I mean,
8,543,021. 17 starts compared to Tiger Woods' 26, just for a comparison, and how much more money has been allotted to these players at the Masters since Tiger.
You want to do reverse snake and want me to go number 4?
Sure.
No.
Justin Rose.
Oh, Justin Rose is number 5.
Damn.
Okay. What a great one.
Oh boy.
Riggsy.
Well, he finishes top 5 every year, even if he hasn't even played well leading up to it. It's unbelievable.
Right.
What about
I think we're gonna go Riggs if we're going snake.
Yeah. Sorry, I screwed you up because I thought I was going to get that one right again, and I was all overconfident.
I think number 4 is Scotty Scheffler.
That's correct.
I do too. Damn
That's a
right.
great call.
We got it.
6 starts. Isn't that incredible?
Those 2 wins in the last 4 years are worth whatever, $3 million
I know.
each time. So he's already there.
Listen, there's been a lot of negative things being said towards Tiger Woods. Obviously, I've been on that side of it. All these guys can thank number 2 right there, Tiger Woods, for the amount of money that they're making at the Masters tournament.
Should put out a statement just God,
Yeah.
Thank you, Tiger Woods, right now.
Yeah, I mean, not condoning anything he's doing, but these guys Scotty Scheffler has $8 million through 6 starts because of Tiger Woods' 26 starts. That's insane amount of money. Trent,
insane.
Trent, you're going to give me 2 guys here, not to put you in a tough spot, but
no.
Oh, that sucks,
Dustin
Trent.
Johnson.
Dustin Johnson coming in at number 9.
All right, good one.
Pretty good, $4 million.
Oh boy. Okay. What about a guy like Vijay Singh?
Vijay Singh is not in the top 20.
Damn,
That's
Trent,
a timing.
you just ruined it. We had it rolling.
It's just a
Sorry,
timing
fellas.
issue.
Not even-
Because
I
he's
didn't
got.
have to say top 20. That was mean. But yeah.
I know. Well, you know what? Richardson doesn't usually give me the top 20. He gave me the top 20. Vijay Singh, I don't even know if he's in the top 50. You know what I mean? He's not anywhere on this list.
You didn't have to say top 20.
Didn't. All right, then
All
I'm
right.
out of guessing.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to say this one I think just has to be up there with a couple wins. But they were 10 years ago. I still think it's worth a good amount of money. I'm going to say Bubba Watson.
Bubba Watson by the skin of your teeth, number 10.
Okay. And am I doing 2 or is it back to Kiz now?
You guys
Back
can
to
kind of
me.
alternate now that Trent's lost. So why don't we just go Kiz, Riggs,
Okay.
Riggs for the next. Well, you got
Go
3
on,
left.
the pride of Japan, Hideki Matsuyama.
Deki Matsuyama coming in at number 11.
Damn!
Oh, well.
Whoa!
Oh, this is a big chance for your boy.
He's $150,000 behind Bubba Watson.
How about this isn't a bad way to do it. You guess until you get it wrong, and then if the last guy can't get them all, we're all back in.
All right, so now Riggs. All right.
3 lose, all lose. 3
All
lose,
right,
all lose.
all right.
All right.
Riggs, can you
I,
rattle off number 6, 7, 8 in the Masters all-time money list?
I need another guess.
John Rahm.
John Rahm's number 8.
Oh shit.
Sergio Garcia.
God, he's out. 15.
Back in. Who's it
Back
go
in,
to?
baby. All right, so who
All
goes?
right. Trent, you were the first person out, so I guess how does that work now? Does Kiz get back in first?
No,
Let's go,
Trent go first,
give it
then
to
Kiz.
All right, Trent, give me a name here. We got 2 players remaining in the top 10 list.
Adam Scott.
Damn, he took mine.
Adam Scott is number 12.
Oh, baby.
Shit, I'm glad. That's what I was going with.
Trent is now out again.
I got a
Riggs.
good one. No,
Or,
I think it's,
yeah,
I
I
think
guess
it's
it'll go-
Kiz because he went
it'll
out
go Kiz.
before me.
Come on, boys.
Mike having a brain problem here.
Dude, it sucks when these happen on these.
And
Then
I
you
always
get
kind of
so
throw
pissed
you a little
afterwards.
shade, even though I have the answers. Trent hates that.
Hate that. Drives me crazy. He's like, it's so easy. It's like,
You
well, you're looking.
fucking idiots.
We asked for
You guys
hints and
should know
no
this one.
hints. No hints.
No, he's number. The hint is that he's number 6 on the all-time money list.
The other guy's
Man,
number
I
7.
can't. can't think of one. Adam Scott, I was for sure was number 6 or 7.
I think I might have both of them, to be honest with you.
All right, I'm gonna pass to Riggs.
Jordan Spieth.
Yes.
Oh,
Jordan Spieth is number 6.
See, I couldn't get Justin Thomas out of my head, and I knew he's not on there, but I was like,
There's a couple. Yeah, there are names that I think are up there that they finished in the top 5 or 10 a bunch, but haven't won. But the other one has to be Patrick Reed.
That's correct. That is correct.
Hey, come on.
Riggsy.
well done.
Damn, Riggs killed us at that.
So
Well,
for all those listening, if you're not watching on YouTube, you don't have this screen right in front of you. It's Phil Mickelson. This is the Masters all-time money list. Phil Mickelson, number 1. Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Rose, Jordan Spieth, Patrick Reed, John Rahm, Dustin Johnson, Bubba Watson. I'll read off 11 through 20. They're interesting names, right? It's Hideki Matsuyama, Adam Scott, Lee Westwood.
Justin Rose, the only name on there in the top 10 that never won a Masters tournament, right?
Wow.
Correct.
It's a nice little insight there.
And I'm sure, since we're on Tiger all day, that Tiger knows that Phil is ahead of him on all-time earnings.
You think so?
Guaranteed.
Wow.
By just over 200 grand.
And I'm sure Phil probably tells him about it every year at Augusta.
Yeah, like 218,000 or something. He's ahead of him. You got Westwood, Cabrera, Garcia, Cam Smith, Xander Schauffele, Brooks Koepka, Charles Schwartzel, and JC Day. Top 20.
While we're doing segments, should we do a voicemail, Ryan Richardson?
I love it. This is great. Leading right into the Masters.
You know,
there's really no better time. Listen, this has been a pretty. Is it tumultuous? Tumultuous time. It's been rocky roads for sure.
Ooh.
Been rocky roads for sure, and not the ice cream that Trent's thinking of. It's one of those things that
spell tumultuous, dude. Spell it. Let's do it. If we're doing segments, we're gonna before the voicemail, we're gonna do Frankie spells tumultuous.
Tumultuous. T. E.
All right, it's over. Let's go on to the next one.
That's it. Do you have an sound?
Damn it! Is it tumultuous?
Yeah, I think
T-U-M-U-L-T-U-O-U-S.
Tumultuous.
I think that's right.
Damn.
Tumultuous.
I have to have my thesaurus and my dictionary out at NBC, so I'm always looking. No, I'm kidding.
I don't hate that segment. You guys. I mean, if I'm going to throw you a top 10, you got to throw me a word I got to spell. That's a dangerous game for me. But I got nothing going on up there.
I got another good word for you to spell next week.
My point being, it's still leading into what's going to be a great week. It's the Masters week coming up. So it's nice to hear from the fans with this voicemail segment. But after this, we probably should just do a little bit of Augusta previewing before we hang up the microphones, because at the end of the day, it's a pretty damn big week for the game of golf, and I'm excited for it. As hard as it's going to be to get up for it, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I agree. And we love hearing from the folks from the gallery. This segment's brought to you by Sport Clips, by the way. If you ever stepped into a baseball field, onto a baseball field, you know that smell: fresh spring grass, leather gloves, the whole ballpark vibe. Sport Clips bringing that inspiration to the MVP haircut experience with the Playmaker Sense. They're the expert in men's hair, so make sure you try the Playmaker Sense now before they're gone. Only at Sport Clips. They bring you from the gallery. Offer ends May 2nd, 2026 at participating locations only and where permitted by law. Sport Clips, it's a game changer. Let's hear from a fan.
Hey guys, long time listener, love the show. Got a debate question for From the Gallery. What feels better as a golfer, finding out you won the Masters lottery, or getting a random call from a buddy, or even just an acquaintance who belongs to really one of the most exclusive private clubs in the country saying, hey, got a spot open for you next weekend, you win? I was thinking, on the one hand, the Masters lottery, basically a miracle, 2 million people enter and you got the call. On the other hand, private club invite means someone specifically chose you to walk inside a place most people never get to set foot in their life, and you actually get to play. So really, what's the bigger rush, being a patron at Augusta, or teeing it up somewhere most people can't even buy their way into? Let me know what you think.
Now, with the lottery, when you get selected, are those your tickets for like a long period of time, or is it just for that year?
Just that year.
Okay.
Just that year. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, depending on what you submitted, but people will get like 4 tickets for Tuesday practice round.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, my initial take on that is there's nothing better than going to the Masters. It's a feeling that you can't replicate. It's just it's Disney of golf. It's like you don't know what's going on the other side of those gates, and when you get inside, it's something that you can't. It's without the phones and without the whole entire deal. It's like you have the rest of your life now to like describe things that you've never described before. Where you're talking about the color of the grass or the way that the bathrooms even like operate and the way that they get you in and out of the concession stands. There's like things that you're describing. You're way more thoughtful about this place, and it's just seared into your memory. And I would say I'm leaning towards the Masters just because like you can't really get disappointed. So sometimes you go and play an all-time golf course, you're showing up there, you got that like walking on eggshells feeling. You don't want to mess up. You don't want to say the wrong thing. You want to play well. If those things don't go your way, if you say the wrong thing, if you walk into the wrong room with the hat on by accident, if you hit a million balls out of play, it's like a sour taste in your mouth. It's not that memory that you really want to brag about. Going to Augusta National is something that's going to be clean, good for the rest of your life. It's always going to be a good experience. So I'm going towards the winning the lottery. That's a big one.
Augusta. I brought my dad last year for the first time. He'd never been before. Brought him for his 70th birthday. It's the only thing he ever brings to every conversation we're ever in since then. He's just like, you ever been to that Masters tournament, by the way? No matter what. People will be like, yeah, did you hear we invaded Iran? He's like, you ever been to this Masters tournament, though? And then he just talks about it nonstop. So I think that feeling of I did, first time I ever went to Augusta, you guys were both there that week, Frankie and Trent, but I walked on with Trent Ryan. We walked down to Amen Corner. And I've said this before, but he and I talk for a living, and we just stood there behind the 12th tee and didn't say a fucking word to each other for like 15 minutes. We just looked around, and it gives me the chills talking about it. You seeing all the holes for the first time, having a domestic beer for the first time while it's sunny out in Georgia. You're seeing, there's whispers that Tiger Woods or Rory or Phil are coming by hitting a shot, or Kevin Kisner just slung a draw down the 10th tee in a practice round. Oh my God. It just is insane. You'll talk about it forever. So Augusta.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Augusta as well. I think, Frankie, you laid it out nicely. I think having the onus on me where my performance is going to affect the way that I feel about something, going to a private club and I have to play and I'm going to shoot 105 and not have a great time, that I like. First of all, I get to go to Augusta and I don't have that pressure. So I would go with Augusta also because I want everybody to experience the no phone thing. We are so tied up with phones now to the point where that sounds so obvious and dumb to even say it, but you don't even realize how much you're on your phone. I don't realize it now that, once a year, if I'm lucky enough to go to Augusta, I realize, wow, I feel like my brain just got scrubbed with like a sponge, but you don't realize it until you experience it. And experiencing no phone for like 5 hours is fucking incredible. And listen, that's on the lower end of things and reasons to go to Augusta, but it is on the list. Going there, not having to look at your phone and not even thinking about it, is a gift from God. So I want people to be able to experience that, and I love it every single year. If I'm lucky enough to go, I love that experience of no phone.
I've got a very biased opinion here, far different than y'all. I grew up 30 minutes from the Masters, been going for 30 years, played in 8 Masters, been fortunate enough to spend lots of time at Augusta National, one of the greatest, if not the greatest clubs in the world. But I'm picking going to another club. I think it's because of how much experience I have at Augusta, and I love it. It's fantastic. But I really enjoy going to like the nicest places in the country and seeing how they do things. And then coming back to my clubs and being like, why don't we do stuff like this? Or why do we not make our club better? Like, that was cool as shit that they have this halfway house, or this person is in this room, or why don't we have a room like this? And I really think that's how you collectively make the best hang in golf, is by taking the best experience from every nice place in the country and trying to make it all into one. And I always go back to like a Hoopy Match Club is my favorite hang in golf. And it's because the owner went to all the nice clubs with his friends for 20 years and said, write down your favorite thing of this place. And every year they took a guys trip, and he took all those notes and tried to make it into one club. And every time I show up at Ohoopee, I'm like, this is how I'd want to do it if I was building a club. Like, I don't want, what bill is this going on? What are you paying for this or I'm paying for that? I think it's so cool if us four show up at Ohoopee, they walk out and they say, Mr. Borelli, thank you for being here. Give me your Amex. Mr. Riggs, give me your Amex. Mr. Trent, give me your Amex. Nobody talks about bills the rest of the time. We go play golf, we stay, we eat, we drink, whatever. They say goodbye. And I think that's one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah. Have you had a chance, now that you haven't played as much on the tour, to like travel around and play these clubs yet, or any of these like destinations, like the Bandons and all of those types of places?
No, I haven't gone to Bandon yet. I've been to, over the years, I've been to quite a few, but there's so many clubs that are popping up already, even just in my little area between Tree Farm, Old Barnwell. We have another club called 21 Club coming. I mean,
Heard
that's
about
all
that
within
one.
15 minutes of my house. That's amazing to just go check all this out. I'm still biased. I think Palmetto Golf Club is like the coolest hanging golf because it's a golf club. There's no pool. There's no dining. There's no tennis. It's just strictly a golf club. You show up, you play golf, you leave, or you hang out and have a few beers. But I love incorporating all the different cool aspects and questioning the leadership at Palmetto and why we don't do things certain ways.
It is you kids, like, you live in like this you live in this very like treasured pocket of golf where obviously you're close to Augusta, but even like Aiken, Palmetto, the other places around there that you mentioned, like Sage Valley's around there. You live in this part of the country where like North Carolina gets a lot of love, Pinehurst gets a lot of love because of the opens and the destination and all that. But where you live is like when you mention Aiken to some golf sickos that are golf course architecture and all that, they'll just start rattling off courses where I'm like, it feels like a pretty small town. How can there be this many fucking golf clubs around Aiken? And it's just a ton of them that people like our good buddy, I was texting with kids about, our friend Tom Pashley, just took his son Max for spring break, like to Aiken. They didn't go to they just went to like Aiken and played golf for like 5 days at all the different places around there. So you do live in just a pretty like sick part of golf in the country.
No doubt. And I see so many people like the Wilcox is a local hotel in Aiken that everybody tries to stay in when they come. And if Brittany and I go up there and have a drink, all it is golf dudes like wearing their different clubs in the Wilcox, or it's horse people because that's what we're known for. And it's amazing how that has really transpired over the last 6-8 years to all these new courses and how many people are literally flying in to my little town just to play golf destinations. This is where they come for golf trips. It's fascinating as hell. I wish I'd have built a really fancy hotel like 7 years ago.
I do like the part too of like taking something that you see that somebody does really well at a place and then like trying to take it back and be like, no, this is such a great way to do it. And I know like out here at Whisper Rock is very similar where like when you roll in, you never get a bill ever under any circumstance. Like if you have 2 guests with you, the staff knows those are your 2 guests. You sit down at lunch, you order, if somebody orders a couple drinks, whatever, then whenever you're done, you just get up and leave. There's no waiting for anyone. There's no transactional part. They know to just put it on me. I'm hosting. It's great. And then, my place in St. Louis, I get frustrated a lot with because it's like when you go into the dining room, the grill, whatever it might be, it's like you order a few things, you kind of get a bill going, then you're going to come back in after the turn, but you'll get, almost like it's like you're at an Applebee's or something where you'll get the like a waitress will come over and be like, hey, by the time when you come back in 20 minutes after you hit a couple putts, I'm actually leaving my shift. So like, here, I'm going to bring you this bill. Can you sign it? And it's just a little bit disjointed. You know what I mean? Where you're sort of at a private club, you're sort of, and I would have never thought of the way that they do it. Like you mentioned, if it's at a Hoopie or at the Rock, where it's like, I would have never thought about it. But now that I know that people do it that way, it's just this, it's like Uber, where it's like you don't have to, all of a sudden they got rid of having to do the cab. And then once you stop the ride, you can't just get out. You got to figure out how to pay and whatever. Whereas Uber, like part of it's obviously convenience, but the genius of it is like zero transaction. As soon as you're at your destination, open the door, hop out. And you're right. You can like take something like that from clubs and see how places do it. That's just one small example, but it really does like make a lot of places better. And it is so cool to see other places. We talk about that with Foreplay of like the amount of different places we've been. I'll use like randomly like Erin Hills as an example of like we all love Erin Hills. And like I haven't been there 2 or 3 years, but when you go back, there's 3 or 4 people that are on the staff at Erin Hills, Steve Pease and others that you see them and you like give them a big hug and have a drink with them. And you're like, I can't believe you live, in the middle of Wisconsin and have this whole time. And you're like a friend of mine and we've had shared experiences. That's what makes golf like insanely cool.
Yeah. Have y'all been to a club where they're doing those canned mixed drinks yet?
Oh, yeah.
Like they have that machine?
Yeah,
Drinks to go.
put
You and I talked about it.
on it.
It's unbelievable. Like that's a game changer. And as soon as I saw one of those, I was like, we need one of those immediately.
Dude, no joke. Like I work with the CEO in terms of like, I was like, can I invest in this product? Can I help with this product? How can I? Because it's an insane, phenomenal company. I saw it for the first time last year at Southern Pines near Pinehurst. And then I saw it a week later. I flew all the way across the country and I saw it out at Gamble Sands where I went up, got a cocktail. They sealed it, put it in a can, handed it to me. And I was like, no, I don't know. I've had 5,000 cocktails in my life. Never seen one like this. What the hell is this? It's awesome, dude. It's like, it is such a game changer. It used to be like, if you're going to go out and you're going to prepare for 4 hours out on the golf course and you're all excited and you're like, yeah, I definitely want to have a cocktail. You're going to get through that cocktail on a drink or in a hole or two. And then you're like, well, I can't really put like cocktails in the cooler that are going to stay cold or whatever. Now they let you like, you could seal up, take 2 or 3 with you, put them in the cooler. And then maybe an hour and a half later, you're like, I'm ready for my second cocktail and open it up. It's just I can't believe nobody thought of it before, but I'm with you. It's a fantastic product. The Spit and Chicklets crew, they've created a spirit inspired by Ryan Whitney's favorite drink, award-winning New Amsterdam vodka mixed with fresh pink lemonade. The result is an exceptionally smooth, great-tasting vodka with notes of candied lemon. The fresh-tasting and mischievous shot is destined for greatness. It's Barstool's only endorsed alcohol brand. Pink Whitney is the #1 flavored vodka in the U.S. It's delicious. It's great for the golf course. I'm glad they've come on board, Pink Whitney. We've had some great moments with the Chicklets guys. I think they're some of the funniest people in the world. And, of course, with this delicious Pink Whitney drink, there's a lot of synergy there.
Tons. Yeah, we love the Chicklets guys. We love Pink Whitney. Out there on the golf course, it's perfect. Just those little nips out there. Bang, you hit one. You're feeling good. The swing gets lubed up a little bit, and you're out there just having a great time. Yeah, pink lemonade. Who doesn't love pink lemonade? There's nobody on earth who doesn't love pink lemonade. And Pink Whitney, it really scratches that itch.
It's so good. I'm a big fan of pink lemonade everywhere. It's one of my go-to non-alcoholic orders when I'm doing lunch, whatever it might be. I love a nice Pink Whitney, pink lemonade. So Pink Whitney, of course, makes a ton of sense. Go get a bottle of Pink Whitney. Pinkies up. That's what we're doing. Pinkies up. It's the rallying cry to the group. It means it's time for Pink Whitney shots. Last thing I got on my list, really, is the ANWA, the Augusta National Women's Amateur, is currently going on right now. They'll play at Augusta. It's had all kinds of iconic moments throughout the year. I remember the first one, I think it was Maria Fassi versus Jennifer Kupcho coming down the stretch, and they're making like eagles on 13, and you get this early glimpse at Augusta National. Like, we haven't really seen it in a year. Last time we saw it, Rory McIlroy was like, crying his eyes out, going nuts, and then nothing. The course just sits there. People like Kevin Kisner sneak out there occasionally and get to play it. All of a sudden, you can tune in this weekend, and you'll see the best female amateurs in the world out there battling for like the coolest amateur prize that they got. So it's a really awesome chance to like support young women's game and golf game. They have a great logo, by the way. One of my main goals this year on Tuesday is to try to find a really cool ANWA logoed item at the merch shop. But you support that, which is a fantastic event, and then you also get to like get your eyes on Augusta National for the first time this year. So just a little bit of a mention to if you're bored on the weekend, throw on the Augusta National Women's Amateur and check it out.
The golf course is going to be spicy, boys. weather is like chilly to like 70 degrees, no real rain. It's going to be firm and fast. I think it's going to be an awesome Masters.
Oh,
Now,
God, I love
with that thought, and we're like obviously over a week out, is there anyone that sticks out to you with combining course knowledge, the way that they've played, and the way that the golf course is setting up that you are starting to like think about that could take advantage of an Augusta National in that setting?
My friend told me Jason Day was going to win, and I laughed at first. But now that I've put more thought into it, you know, he has a chance. He's been playing well. He played well last week in Houston until the last few holes. And he's always seems, you know what happens in the Masters is the same dudes always play well, right?
Yeah.
You always see like randomly, you know, Justin Rose is up there near the top, or Jason Day, or Terrell Hatton, or just dudes that I don't have on the top of my head as like going into it thinking they're going to win. And then there they are every year on Sunday, no matter their age or their form. And I believe that it's so much due to the course knowledge and course history and how much time they've spent over there. But I mean, if Rory McIlroy is on his game, it's over, in my opinion.
Right.
This course is perfect for him.
Okay.
Growing up around Augusta, and like you just said, all the golf courses you've kind of played your whole life, really, especially like a professional life. What were your thoughts going into a Masters and your confidence in yourself in playing that course?
I knew I was always going to struggle to compete to win. I knew I could make the cut and compete to be in that top 16 or so to play again. But the golf course is just so long for me. I had to have an exceptional putting week. And since I started playing the Masters, they've only made it longer. So that it became more and more difficult throughout my time playing over there. I needed perfect conditions. I needed firm fairways, soft greens, which is a rare to get because then my drives can roll out and my longer irons can stop wherever I'm landing them. Because if you're back there trying to hit a 7-iron or a 6-iron to one, and they're basically 3x3 sections to land the ball to be in the right spot to those pins, and Rory's hitting wedge and the greens are firm, I miss by a foot, I'm toast. He misses by a foot and he can get away with it. Just over 4 days, you can't outputt that. One of the biggest things that everyone always said leading up to the Masters is how tight they made the surrounds. You used to hear all this about like guys changed their wedge to chip at Augusta because it's so tight. And now the agronomical practices on the PGA Tour are so good that it's actually probably one of the least tight places we play all year.
Wow.
The chipping seems somewhat easy. In fact, I would argue that you don't get quite as much spin at Augusta as you do at regular tour events due to the height of the grass.
Wow.
Interesting.
Really?
So basically, like throughout the years, even back in the day, like they were so much more advanced than your prototypical PGA Tour golf course. There was a attention to detail for the green surrounds to be so thin compared to the other things, the other golf courses. And now you're saying just the other courses have kind of
I always heard that as a kid, right? Before, I would say when I was 15 or, you hear so much around Augusta. When I was a kid, you always heard about pros changing their bounce on their wedges for Augusta. But then when I played my first one, I was thinking, man, they're going to mow these before tomorrow, like really tight, or what's going on here? This is Wednesday and it doesn't seem very tight. And as I played more and more, it's not like they go way lower than what we play every week.
Right.
Maybe they did 30 years ago and we caught up and maybe surpassed them every week in and week out, trying to test the best players in the world every week. In fact, I would say if it was tighter at Augusta, it would be easier to pitch around because the rye is so sticky and it's normally somewhat wet because we get rain, that the bump shots are more difficult when it's got a little more grass. And you see bump shots all the time. Think about like over 15 green. If somebody hits it over in 2 and they're trying to bump it back in, the longer
Scotty
that grass
does that
is,
on what, 3?
Yeah, 3. Anytime it gets more and more inconsistent, the more grass there is.
Scotty's perfected that bump. comes in
The
100
shot
miles
Rory
an
hit
hour,
on
hits the
3
top
last
of
year
it.
in the final round was insane, dude. He hit because I just watched the thing on Amazon Prime, like the Rory documentary, which is awesome. It's like an hour and a half long about the whole thing. And they're all kind of doing that now, kids, right? Where they drive it up. 3 is like the coolest hole out there, I think, where they drive it up there just short of the green, but it's like this 50, 40, 30-yard pitch to a green that's like a volcano. I mean, it looks like a mini golf green. And he's only 30 yards short of the green, and it's a Sunday pin. It's on the left there. And, dude, he hits this like sick bump and run, but you can't hit it low because it's such a steep thing. So he bumps it right into the end of the hill. It maybe lands twice at the end of the hill and then dribbles through the fringe, takes like 10 feet of break, rolls to 8 feet or so, and he makes like an uphill left to right slider while Bryson made bogey on that hole, and it totally flipped the beginning of the Masters because Rory had doubled the first and then not birdied the second. And it was the sickest shot where I'm just like, dude, that's not a shot that I have. That's like an auto bogey or double for me from there for sure.
Didn't Hideki like do a bump and run from behind 15 that year? Wasn't it? Didn't he go over the green and have to hit a crazy wedge shot coming back in? It was like a little pitching wedge. Didn't he fly the green on 15 and like by those trees we thought that went into the water? Maybe I'm just I'm mixing it up. All right.
My memory
I can't remember exactly.
I'm gonna watch that Rory thing though. I'm excited to watch it.
Oh, dude, it was really good. It was really good. I like the way they did it.
Did you guys get sent that Rory book by Alan Shipnuck? It came to my house.
Yeah,
I don't know how he has.
I gotta read
address.
that bad boy.
You concerned about the address being out there?
No, I just don't know how he has my address. But I got a Rory McIlroy book from Alan Shipnuck. It's a hell of a cover. It's just Rory McIlroy's face in 8K.
I actually meant to send you a picture. I had the Golf Channel on, and Brando was giving his take on the Tiger stuff, and he's got the Truman book behind him in his office.
No way.
Yeah.
Incredible. Of course he does.
I'm still just plucking away at that thing, man. You know what it is? I mean, I'm sure I'm gonna end up reading some interesting stuff, but like I'm already past the bomb situation and all of that, and now he's just the president. And I definitely want to read more through it, but like I was super excited about that whole like Oppenheimer, that like whole debate over like if they should do it.
Climax a little early.
Yeah, you know, it's still super interesting, like reading about a president like in the Oval Office and all of his writings and all of his little personal notes he would send to people is pretty damn cool. But I'm still plucking away, man. It's a hell of a fucking book.
All right, what a hell of a show. We still got Dan Hicks, who's awesome. It was a fantastic chat with him. Kiz set that one up as well, so we very much appreciate that. If nobody has anything else, I think we're ready to throw it to that.
We told kids we didn't need him for that long today because we had an interview.
That's
How'd
right.
we do? Hour 20?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
20.
I know.
His boys are already on the fourth hole. They're probably freaking.
Yeah, I just looked down at my phone. They just said, "Hey, catch us. You lost every hole you missed."
I was going to say he's down 4 Gs already.
And I haven't hit a ball since last Thursday, so it should be. I'll lose the first 3 I'm out there.
How long will it take you to get to the first tee right now once you hang up?
Well, they're probably on 4. I could be on the first tee in 30 seconds from the time we shut this off.
All right. Thank you, Kiz. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Dan Hicks, for joining. So let's throw it to Dan Hicks. We'll be back next week on Tuesday. It'll be Masters Week, so get fired up. Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
Hit it hard.
All right, friends, please welcome to the program for the very first time our latest guest. He has been NBC Golf sportscaster since 1992. He has been up in the tower as the lead play-by-play for NBC Golf since the year 2000. He has called iconic moment after iconic moment, including the 2000 U.S. Open at Pebble Beach, in which Tiger Woods won by 15 strokes. He called maybe the most dramatic U.S. Open in golf history, the 2008 U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, in which Tiger Woods won on one leg in a playoff over Rocco Mediate. He also has called all kinds of things from Notre Dame football to the Olympics, including the 2008 Summer Olympics, with maybe his most iconic call when the United States of America tracked down France in the 4x100 men's relay to keep Michael Phelps' hopes of a record 8 gold medals alive. He now has somehow been subject to sitting next to our very own Kevin Kisner. Please welcome Dan Hicks to the program.
Wow.
Wow. Well
that
done
is some
there.
intro. Okay, so we're done. That's it.
That's it.
I'm out.
We're done. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Riggs, that was sensational. You hit on all my favorite touchstones there. So congrats to you, buddy. That's of all the introductions I've had, that was right up there.
Well, I want to start with one that's off the cuff. I didn't write this one down, but you've got the Wingfoot hat on, probably maybe the best logo in all of golf. I think whenever I see people do the brackets for golf logos, Wingfoot usually is in the final or wins the whole thing. You also were calling the U.S. Open at Wingfoot when Phil Mickelson had his little collapse right there. I believe you're a Wingfoot member. I think I've seen your locker when I've been up there before. How special is that place to you?
I pinch myself every time I drive through the gates there. I had Kiz out there a little while ago. I know he's a big Wingfoot guy. It's and so when I had the chance I was looking around to maybe join a club in the area, and I'd always loved the Wingfoot golf course. And then when we did that 2006 Open that you talked about, I got to know some of the members, and that's what really sold me on the place. The membership there, I've been around a lot of clubs, and there's a lot of great memberships and a lot of great golf courses all around the world, but the membership at Wingfoot is just awesome. It's just guys down to earth. No one really talks about anything other than just golf and what's going on in sports. So it's just an incredibly comfortable place to play. Two iconic courses. And a lot of people think, okay, it's just the West course. That's the U.S. Open course. And they're going to host another U.S. Open there in 2028. But the East course is every bit as good as the West course. So I'm proud to fly the colors with you guys on Barstool today. It's a pleasure.
I'll tell you, I think that's one of the best bar grill rooms in all of golf.
Oh yeah, you can get sucked in there for a lot longer than you want. Believe me, it's the best. There's the grill room, and then there's the East room now that's kind of become a thing. It's called Gio's. It's Giovanni, the bartender, who kind of holds court there, and it's his place, Gio's. That's where I think I had Kiz in there for maybe one of the first times. It's a little more. It's got air conditioning in there, so on a really hot, humid day, it's not a bad place to hang out.
I wasn't sure if I was ever going to leave there. I mean, he's serving me pizza. The guy's filling my beer up every 5 minutes. I was like, Dan, you might find me here sleeping tomorrow, bud.
Yeah, it's that kind of place.
It is a really fun time. Yeah, I had a guy, Shane Eccleston, invited me up there and play with a bunch of his group when we used to work in the New York office, and I got sucked into that bar.
Shane was with us that day that had Kiz there. He was.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's got a good move. He's a nice kid, but awesome spot. Like I kind of mentioned off the top, obviously you've been a part of a lot of iconic calls. I'm curious, with Kiz has been in the booth there for a couple of years now. He's obviously a huge part. There's only like 4 seats that are really above all the others in golf. It feels like it's like Nance, Immelman, and you two that are on the show right now. When you guys were kind of going through Johnny Miller, retiring, not being there anymore. How involved were you, or were you involved at all in who to bring in next and eventually bringing in Kevin Kisner?
Yeah, you missed one guy in between. That was Paul Zinger.
Oh, that's right. Zinger was there for a while.
And Zing was with us for, I believe, 5 years before Kiz came in there. But, when Johnny left, those were huge shoes to fill, obviously. The guy was a legend, and just, I can't tell you what a pleasure it was to work with him in the 18th Tower for 20 years. There's nobody like him. There never will be anybody like him. So when he decided to retire in 2019, I was asked here and there, but it really wasn't my decision. But when we had the chance to hire Zing, it's a long kind of story, but he was with Fox. He was still working with Fox. And so we worked out a deal where he could work at both Fox and NBC for a very short period of time. And then he was exclusively with us. So he was great. He brought a lot to the table, obviously great credentials. And then so when that ran its course, then we had to go back to the drawing board. And we actually interviewed a lot of guys and brought them in and actually did rehearsals with them on the air. And it just, nothing really seemed like it was the fit. Sometimes when you got the guy and when he's going to be a great fit with the team. And then when Kiz, kind of became available and got interested, and we got to know him a little bit more, and we got him in the booth. I just told I told Tommy Roy, our producer, that you know, there's a fit there. Because Tommy's so careful who he's going to add to the team. You not only have to know golf, you not only have to do your stuff, and Kiz has got a really good resume as a professional golfer, but you got to fit in with the team. You got to like fit in with the rest of the moving parts that we have. And I just thought he was a great fit. And so just can't tell you how thrilled we are to have him. I think he's proven that he's himself on the air, which is exactly what we wanted. So it's cool to see you guys work with him as he expands his media brand. It's great to see him work with you guys, and actually I want to bring a little bit more out of him that he's able to come up with on your program, because I think the more relaxed he gets within a network golf broadcast, I think he can even better serve the viewers.
Yeah, I feel like this man's just trying not to get canceled up there most of the time.
That's part
you
of
don't want me pulling out my Barstool hat too much on that NBC tower, buddy. I'll just
you're right. You're right. We got to strike a nice balance to where we can bring that real loosey-goosey Kiz from Barstool over to the networks and somehow make it mesh.
Well, it's funny. It's like Kiz brings the two different worlds to both of our programs, where for you guys, you're looking for that little more relatable, it's his own personality kind of given his insight and his takes on it. And for us, he's given us that credibility of like, oh, it's the guy that was on the other side of the ropes. That's actually,
right.
When someone tunes in now to our podcast, like, you have to listen to what Kiz says, because he actually knows what he's talking about. I know he brings that to your guys' show as well, but it's funny to see how versatile. I mean, we're all just kind of like hooting and hollering about you right now, Kiz, and you're right here in the room, but like, it's funny to be able to see you kind of toe both worlds, where like you would think that it'd be like you'd be the jokester, party boy on our show, but actually like we're coming to you for like the X's and O's now. It's actually It's really interesting on how it's kind of all blended together and how you've managed both worlds. I think you've done a great job.
I appreciate it, and we learned that just in the previous interview with Cam Young. Dan, they asked him if he tried to catch ball first on a bunker shot, and on that shot on 9 on Sunday, he's under that tree.
Yeah.
And he's like, Frankie asked him, do you play that like a regular bunker shot, or do you try to hit that ball first? And I said, Cam, can you believe I'm working with these clowns now? Like the questions that they're asking.
Dude, a low-flighted bunker shot from 60 yards is like an amateur golfer's worst nightmare. We have no idea how to attack it. Who better to ask than Cam Young?
Well, the minute I saw that fried egg in the bunker, and I'm looking at the trees going, the degree of difficulty on this thing is off the charts. And you kids, you probably remember, I kind of looked at you like, I'm coming to you, pal, because, tell the viewer how you hit this shot. And you I think you said something like, I've been thinking about it. And I said,
I knew you were going to ask me about this. And I've been thinking, how the hell do you hit this shot?
Yeah. I mean, it was, I think that shot is going to be overshadowed a little bit, obviously, with the birdie at 17 and the monster drive at 18. But man, that bunker shot, he doesn't, that could, like you said, it could have gone anywhere.
Dan, I got to ask you, you've been doing this, like I said, for a long time. You've been calling golf since the 90s. Now, I'm really curious how much you feel and how much, you've had to adapt to golf broadcasting changing, because, there weren't pro tracers until relatively recently. Now, if you show a single golf shot without a pro tracer, even on YouTube, they'll like kick you off of YouTube. You got to have them. How much has golf broadcasting changed in the last 20, 30 years?
Changed a lot. It has changed for the better. I think it's gotten a ton better. I mean, I was even back, when I first got to NBC in the standard definition days. I mean, that's like crazy dinosaur days. But now, with high def getting better, pixels getting better, and the coverage getting better. I mean, the drones have been an absolute game changer that I think we're going to continue to see them develop and evolve even more, because when they first came around, I'll give you an example. I was doing a world ski championship in Beaver Creek. This was like 10 years ago. Drones were just starting to be used in live telecast. And this drone was cruising down. There was a downhill competition going on. This drone actually got a little bit ahead of the skier and crashed at the finish line. Can you imagine, these skiers are going 70, 80 miles an hour, and if a drone causes that kind of injury. So anyway, so fast forward, now they're getting into golf where you've got to be quieter. So they've gotten a lot quieter. They're able to get right behind the action. And I think drones are the biggest game changer since I've been there, because They're only getting better. They're only getting more nimble. And I mean, you're going to see the days when, because our biggest, and Kiz will back me up on this, I'm sure, in his vast television career now, the hardest thing to describe to the viewers are the undulations of the greens. What are we looking at? Because people come in person, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe it. They look like that. So these drones are going to be able to get down, like, I think eventually, right behind, let's say, Cameron Young's putting for birdie at the 17th hole at the Players. They're going to be so quiet that we're going to be able to trust them, just like our guys that hold the RF, the radio frequency cameras, which you got to have. But I think those are finally going to come in. And let's say the director or the producer says, you know what, we need to get over there to his right from that look from behind. That drone's going to be able to cruise over there and just in real time during a championship that's on the line. We are not going to bother the golfers. They're going to be able to get you that kind of shot. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen evolving. Tracers were obviously huge. You can't imagine seeing, every time you see a golf shot without a tracer, you're like, where'd that go? What is this?
Yeah, right.
So the tracers and drones are the big additions.
Yeah, the drones are so interesting, I think, too, because for a viewer, especially if you haven't been somewhere before, to a course before, the angles that they show that show the relationship to the holes and how everything lays, I think is really interesting, because really for decades, you pretty much have the same view of every hole, which is like behind the tee shot, behind the approach shot. And now, I think a lot of, I know it's CBS, but the Masters, when they have that really cool drone shot that goes behind the 15th green and shows those trees that are behind the 15th green, and it kind of goes over 16 and shows you the pond, the trees, the green, and then the pond, and you really see, Trent called it a saddle, famously, that Trevor Edelman then brought onto the broadcast. But like getting those kinds of looks too, I think have dramatically changed it from a viewing experience of just getting like almost like a 4D look of a golf course, when it feels like we've almost been looking at it in like 2D for our whole fan career.
Yeah, it's the relationship of where the holes are configured at these iconic golf courses, right? You were just such in a box before you had these drones. They can cruise around. They can show you, okay, here's 14. As it goes to 15, you can go through trees. You can go through anything. And so, yeah, they're giving you a relationship between the golf course and the fans or whatever, and all the holes and all the players and how they see it as well.
And there's no better example than Sawgrass. I mean, we've been seeing that 16, 17, 18 just entering that Thunderdome for our entire lives, but now you get a whole different aspect or a whole different view of it. I was able to take my father-in-law out there right before the Players Championship, and it was his first time ever playing Sawgrass, and he just walking the 16 fairway and like going up to that approach shot and going up to the green and looking to your right, he didn't realize like how basically you're in one big stadium. Like the 16, all the grandstands go all the way around to 17 essentially. And he's like, this is the coolest thing I've ever laid my eyes on. Like that's the type of stuff, like as Riggs has kind of alluded to, like we've always just been so, especially for him, like an old time golf watcher, like it's just like shot. You get there in person, you're like, wow, it really is so connected. A guy putting right here might affect a guy that's hitting a shot just 50 yards to his left. So yeah, it's great. You guys have done an unbelievable job. I mean, the tracers are out of control. From us on a production side, like when we're doing our YouTube videos, it's so hard to nail that stuff. And I know like was it Akshay that had the one that looked like he flailed one out left, and then I mean that one scared all of America. We're like, oh my God, he shanked it.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, I mean
sometimes
you live and die by it, right? And that's live TV and that's live production, but to be able to bring that technology into a live sport like that, no other sport is really doing that, where like you're tracking the ball with a line. Like imagine it's a really, really hard thing to accomplish. And I think you guys nail it. And obviously your commentary on the side of it is just, it's just been so great.
It is. No, it's really good. It makes a huge difference. I want to pull up, I sent a couple clips to our producer, Ryan Richard. I'm going to have him pull the first one up, but one thing that it's cool talking to you because, like us as sports fans, us as golf fans, there's huge moments in the game that you just never forget. And you watch 99% of the time you watch just so that you don't miss the 1% of the time that there are those huge moments. And your voice, your call as the play-by-play guy, as the sportscaster, you're married to these huge moments in our memory, in golf memory. That I think of the Phil's 18th hole at Wingfoot. I think of Rory at the U.S. Open, missing the putts. Bryson getting up and down from that bunker, and then I can't help but think of 2008. It's one of my favorite calls of all time. So Ryan, got that thing ready. Can we get this call from 2008 ready to rock? Because it's one of my favorites of all time.
Expect anything different? Rocco, you've got Tiger for 18 holes tomorrow.
Chills.
Gives me the chills. It's such a perfect call. Perfect call. Is that just instantaneous? Do you think about that leading up to it?
Yeah, I've been asked about that a lot, and I think the best way I can describe it is we had a lot of time, obviously, to just set that whole putt up. And so by the time Johnny and everybody had run out of whatever things to describe what the putt was going to do, we had this kind of real silence there. And I just remember looking out in the crowd. There was, 30,000 people around the 18th green. And I'm just looking at them. They're just stoic like this. You could hear a pin drop. And then I look over to Johnny to my right. And I look over at him. He looks over at me. He gives me this kind of wry little smile, almost just like he expected him to make it. And then that was the thought in my mind as this putt is going down. I'm just thinking to myself, everybody expects him to make it. So this word expect was in my head. And then when it went down, I just came out of me. Expect anything different. And I was proud of the call, but I think it's the timing of the call too that makes all the difference. We had a chance to set it up, the whole team. The replays that Tommy Roy ran after it were just a master class. So if you look at that clip and you look at it beyond the replays, in the slow ball bouncing on the Poana, I mean, it was like it just curled in on the right side. It could have gone out, but it's Tiger Woods. And I think that's it. In fact, I think that's what I said later on. It was like, it's Tiger Woods. It looked like it could have gone out, but it's Tiger Woods. It's not going to go anything but in. So it was cool. And then the crowd, right after I let the crowd kind of build on it, and then I came in with a hitter there. It's a once in a career kind of moment where you don't want to mess it up. And it's funny because just a couple months after that, in your grand introduction there, Riggs, you mentioned the Lezak comeback. That happened 2 months later at the Olympics in China, where Phelps ran the table and won 8 gold medals. So in the span of 2 months, there were 2 moments that were afforded to our crew and me to try to do your best to enhance it, which is what we try to do. And so we got lucky with that, and it was great stuff.
Well, what a pro you are with the transition, because that was the other one that I pulled up for our guy, Mr. Ryan Richin. So Ryan, if you will, he's a pro. He's a transition guy. This one is just as good as it gets as well.
I just don't think he can do it. He's trying to ride that wave as much as possible. Bernard is pulling away from him. The United States trying to hang on a second. They should get the silver medal. But Lezak is closing a little bit. Can the veteran chase him down and pull off a shocker here? Here comes Lezak! Unbelievable at the end! He's done it!
Yeah, that was the clip where they had Phelps's audio there, and he was talking about they had to bleep that out. We didn't have that on the live portion of it, but that was kind of like the last, they had all these other clips of audio that was gathered, and Phelps was just a tad fired up. That was unbelievable, that whole sequence. Crazy.
Oh, God, that your voice inflection there, too, is so good. And I can't believe that's just a couple months later, but it's so real. It's so, you're just like, oh, my God. Like,
funny story
I
about
didn't even
that.
think it was you. I mean, right there, I was just like, was that Dan's voice?
I didn't either. It was like this otherworldly, out-of-body experience happened, because we knew that this race was the second race in the whole 8 races that lined up for his 8 potential gold medals, right? So we're kind of letting it all come to us. But Rowdy, who you heard there, who's just an unbelievable analyst, and I'll work a 9th swimming Olympics with him in LA at 28, which is crazy.
That's awesome.
He had this intuition that he breaks it all down. So he knew that this was not going to happen, especially if this French guy had the lead over Lizak. And that happened. So we're just writing it off. So then it materializes that Lizak, who really was a journeyman kind of anchor guy, he had never done anything special in his entire career, he somehow pulls off the greatest relay split in history. Wins a goal by 1/100th of a second. So my voice went to a level, I mean, forget about Gus Johnson and any other crazy announcer out there who, achieves this crazy level of like surprise. My voice went to this next level thing. After the race, I thought I'd blown a vocal cord. I'm serious. I in the finals in China were in the morning in China. They were obviously in prime time on the East Coast. But so I had the whole day. We had to do another prelims that night. And I seriously, Tommy Roy, who was producing that as well, he comes up and he's like, hey, that was great. And I'm like, I'm going to have to do sign language for a while until we get to the prelims because I seriously thought I blew out a vocal cord. But it kind of came back. I just flushed my throat out with water for the rest of the day and slowly came back. But that moment is just one of those things. That's why we love sports, guys, right? It's you just never know. And that was just an off the charts. Didn't have any idea that was coming down the road.
Do you have any strange practices to keep your voice at tip-top shape? Like, are you not talking at all before the broadcast? Are you drinking lemon and water? Like, what are you doing to keep your voice A1?
I go mainly with Johnny Walker Black with a big rock, and then maybe Cuban
One glass of
cigar
Pinot.
here and there. There's Kiz. He knows the routine already. A little glass of Pinot after that.
I wonder you guys are a good team.
And that's so. No, there's no real. It's funny. You have all these big events, right? And so Kiz is in the booth at Bay Hill. Is it Bay Hill or Cognizant that you were hacking? You had like a cold or whatever.
I think it was Cognizant, yeah.
Yeah, and this whole thing's going around, right? Everybody's had it, cold. In some cases, you absolutely lose your voice. So in the following tournament at Bay Hill, Joe Martin, our director, and our associate director, Brandon in the back, both lost their voices, couldn't even speak. So they're basically doing sign language to time. So it's a real handicap at that point. But, I could have gone that way. I mean, Kiz is hacking next to me. I could have been like out of commission. And I've only had that happen maybe a couple times in my career. Luckily, it hasn't happened at the Olympics or the U.S. Open or something like that. But you never know.
One of Dan's hidden talents that y'all don't know is he can do other broadcasters' voices very well. So when we cut to commercial and they tell Dan what he's about to do coming back, we'll all just like randomly call out somebody's name and he'll just do that voice and do it in the commercial. And it is freaking hilarious. So if y'all got anybody, think of it before he goes. He can do it for you.
Well, it's not like I can do anybody. It's not like you're going to call out a guy and I'll do it. But,
wow, you got most of them.
I know Kiz is a big college football fan, so I think one of those times, Kiz, I broke out with a Keith Jackson. You're like,
oh
what?
yeah.
So, you got to give it.
And you were doing Marty Smith this weekend in full redneck. I love.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I don't know.
I started doing Marty Smith at a TJL. Hey, Max, how you doing, man? I started into that. It was like, where did this come from?
It makes me laugh every time because you're sitting there doing your own thing. You got your headset on, and then I hear Dan all day in my ear, and then suddenly he's doing some random voice like Keith Jackson. Where did that come from? So rain delays turn into Dan entertain me with everybody's voices.
Yeah, rain delays are the worst. Oh,
the worst.
Crazy, just like go crazy, just nuts, like torture. Because this is what you get in the business to do live golf, not to sit around and like listen to a tape of yourself or whatever, and then pop in every 20 minutes to do a weather update. But,
yeah, and you're the pro's pro that has to stay there all day and pop in for the live to make it all work. Like at Cognizant, Dan had to go. We called Saturday Cognizant early, and at 2:30, like worst news ever in Kevin Kisner's life was Tommy Roy came on. Was like, hey, we're gonna need you to stay with Dan all day because at the end you're gonna have to do it on camera. And I was like, what? I had a whole afternoon planned. Dan's like, yeah, man. Well, Dan had already planned on being there for 12 hours because he knows the business, and I didn't. And I'm like, got golf plans that afternoon that all have to get canceled. And yeah.
Kiz is learning a lot about the how we piece together these shows because it's all like a puzzle, right, to the end. And so the reason they needed him, we needed him on camera, was they needed to fill it in exactly after they ran all the programming that we had taped. They're still figuring out the timing of the show. because I'm coming in with weather updates. We do a couple live interviews, and that's throwing off the timing. So they needed to time this on camera, and you basically get one shot to do it. We did it live, and it just fits into the thing, and they're counting us down, and So anyway, kids did a good job.
I can catch on after 20 events. I kind of got a feel for like, all right, when I need to shut up. Now it's Dan's turn to do the closing.
The thing about television, there'll be something next week that you've never seen.
That's right. I tell people that my number one thing. I tell people, I tell people that my number one. Every week's different. You never know.
So there's something we talk about on the show a lot, actually, and there's nobody better to ask than you, Dan. Just a moment ago, when a broadcaster will give us a just a moment ago, we've talked, and people have said before, the people at home don't know that this is live or if it's taped. Like, for us, we would almost prefer to just let it run out, like you would be calling it as a live shot. What's the reasoning behind letting them know it was just a moment ago, or like, could we fully get rid of that?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and I've wrestled with it. It's just kind of the philosophy of our production team, what they do. If you don't do that, and our guys in the truck pride themselves on what you're seeing is going to make sense, right? What I mean is and our guys, I'll say it, our production guys put more programming live. You see more live golf on NBC than any other place. I just think that's a fact, and anybody that's worked on both sides of it will tell you that. With that said, if we didn't say it was earlier, if we didn't say it was a moment ago, then the live version would be weird. Now, you could just go with just do it, and so let's say Cam Young sinks a 20-footer and it happened, 2 minutes ago or a minute ago, and I didn't say anything. And all of a sudden, that happened on the 16th green, and all of a sudden he's on the 17th tee. It's like, ooh, magic. How did he get on the 17th tee? So we're just trying to make sense to the audience. But I get your point, Trent. It can take people don't want to have the moment spoiled. So what I've tried to do in the last few years is just not give it up. Even though we're saying it happened earlier, I'll try not to go, oh, you're not going to believe what just happened at the par 3. And people are thinking, oh, here comes an ace. And sure enough, it goes in the hole. So I think I could probably do a better job at not giving it away, even though we're saying it happened earlier. So I don't know if that answered your question.
We're willing to you guys just lie to us. You know what I mean? You can just lie to us.
Right. Like, you want to be lied to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we kind of, part of us just wants to be lied to. And then I think maybe another good philosophy would be, mix in more decoys, like show a random person you haven't shown all day with like a 40-foot putt that he just lags to like a foot.
You're right. That would mess with the audience, because when you haven't seen Joe Blow, Seamus Power, you haven't seen them all telecast. What are we going to him here from 123 yards out? Oh, boom!
And he hits like an okay wedge shot to 18 feet. Like that's right. Keep us on our toes a little bit.
I'm going to bring this Barstool production philosophy note taking to the powers that be kids, and we'll see what they say. But decoys, that might be the trick.
You throw a moment ago on a miss, everyone's on their toes now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it. Right. You're right. You're right. It would really throw the telecast into a whole other level of now they're playing with us. All right, now we don't really know.
You got like Russell Henley hasn't been on TV in like 4 months. They cut to him. He's got a 30-footer and he just leaves it 7 feet short, and he's like. And he stays tied for 20 seconds, and you just go to the net. That keeps us, you know what I'm saying?
Like it never happened. Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
I know you're a golf guy. You got the Wingfoot hat on. We talked about that off the top. With covering so many different sports, is it difficult for you? Olympics, all of this, you're covering swimming. You're just talking about you're covering skiing. And, is it difficult at all to immerse yourself in like the lexicon and all of it in so many different sports sometimes?
Yeah, luckily, especially when you start off a new sport. So when the Winter Olympics, we started doing the Winter Olympics NBC in 2002. I did speed skating, which I had no clue about. And so I'm sitting with Dan
Looks
Jansen.
like he's going faster than the other guy.
Yeah. Well, he seems to be upright, and they're going around this big oval, and I don't know why they're skating in pairs.
He's making another left. I
guess they only have it.
That sounds like an electric broadcast, by the
way. So anyway, so I immersed myself in it, and I asked my analyst, Dan Jansen, just questions about the sport and immerse myself in it. So in my job, whatever sport I'm doing is not to say, oh, wow, this guy looks like he's tiring on the backstretch because I think he's been on his edge of his skate too much. My job is not to say, oh, geez, I don't think Cam should hit a 5-iron from there. That's Kiz's job, right? That's why he's there. That's why the expert. But my job is to set the analyst up, and make the people care about the people they're watching. Because if you look at it, television really just whittled down to the bare bones is make people care about the people they're watching. So a lot of times, people know everything about Scotty Scheffler. I'm not going to fill in a lot of blanks, but he is who he is. He's the number one player in the world. But then you get these other guys, these kind of interlopers that come in. And if you did, like, for instance, what was the guy's name, Kiz, at the Players' Championship that you love to pronounce?
Yelamoraju.
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it.
Good job. That's a pro. That's our pro right there.
Absolutely. Did you see how that rattled off just effortlessly? But anyway, this guy comes onto the scene, and all of a sudden, people have no idea. And so, listen, I didn't really know much about him. We got our bios, so we start piecing things together. And so, yeah, and all of a sudden, you're like, geez, this guy, learned to play golf on YouTube, and all of a sudden you're like, yeah, this is a cool story. I'm more invested in this guy who made more money in one tournament than he had in his entire career. So those are the stories that you love to get, and it's one of the reasons why you get into the business, to kind of tell their stories.
Speaking of that guy, Dan, the first day I got to Sawgrass was Friday. I'm getting a cart ride from the hotel with a runner back to the compound, and the first player I saw inside the ropes was Yelamoraju, and I literally told the runner, I said, I've never even seen that human before. How is he in the Players' Championship? And the kid's like, yeah, man. He kind of told me the story. I was like, wow, I need to do some research up here before I go to work this week.
You gotta,
and then he plays great, and then on Saturday, I'm like, if we cut to him, Dan, do not ask me to say his name.
Believe me, I was sweating it the first time, a couple times that I blurted it out, because that name could go anywhere on you.
Anywhere,
right?
It was a great story. The guy had a high finish, man. He made like 900,000 or something like that.
It was awesome. He's like so likable, so easy to root for.
Yeah.
Yep, the lefty, the difference. No, it's great. I mean, it is. It's a hell of a job that you guys do, because kind of like I mentioned, I'm glad we brought up a couple of those calls, because it does remind you when you see those clips that, like, your voice, your guys' the timing of it, what you say, when you say it, how you say it, is forever attached to these huge moments that, like, we watch sports for those moments. And so it's high pressure. And like, God, I can't even imagine how hard it is to weigh on, like, when you say nothing. I know Nick Faldo has the famous line of, like, my favorite call anybody's ever told me I had was when I didn't say a word for 2.5 minutes after Tiger Woods won the 2019 Masters. So just fighting kind of that balance, I can imagine, is extremely difficult, and being up there for hours and hours and talking and having to fill time. It's not as easy as it looks. I know from when we did one professional golf broadcast. We did the Corn Ferry Tour maybe 2 or 3 years ago now, and we're so us that, like, we couldn't even get over when the producer would talk in our ear, just like on live coverage, like responding to the producer.
Yeah, believe me, we've had a lot of broadcast rookies respond to producers on the air.
I'm one.
Yeah, kids, it's like they're looking. It's like you should really go to. Okay, I'll do that. Wait, it's like, whoa, we're on the air. Don't answer me. Just do what I tell you to do.
Hey, while you're on that, Riggs, my favorite call of Dan's, like, on the moment, was when JJ Spawn made that putt at Oakmont this past summer. Like, everyone in the world's thinking he's 3-putting to probably go to a playoff, and he's got a 2-putt to win the golf tournament from 90 feet or whatever. And Dan yells, how about, or he sets it up like he needs a 2-putt to win the golf tournament. And then as it goes in, he yells out, how about 1? And I'm like, how did you think of that? Where did that come from at that moment? And perfect. It was so cool right there. I was begging for him to win too.
That's when Kiz, puts the thumbs up in front of me, which I kind of never saw while it was happening. But Kiz had been watching that putt go over that crest all day long at Oakmont, and he knew and he saw a good one. So he wanted me to know that you better get ready to roll here, partner, because this might go in. It's got a good chance. Sure enough.
Dan eases up on that seat when he's about to make a big call. He gets all up on the TV like, I'm ready.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
That was it.
God,
that was fun. I think I think I was a little overmodulated. I kind of went a little Jason Lezak on that JJ Spawn thing. So I don't know. The audio guys might have been a little bit caught off guard of that decibel level.
It's great. It's great work. It is. Awesome. You guys are up there. You're as public as it gets. Live TV is like as hard as it gets in media. So yeah, it's cool to talk to you, hear from you. That iconic voice, like I said, has been attached to so many things that we've watched for years and years and years. So good luck also dealing with our guy. You know, I guess we all got to deal with him now. But
yeah, well, I got to do it. No, it's a pleasure. I've enjoyed you guys for a long, long time. And now that my man Kiz is on board, I've taken even more of a special interest. You guys have been a big part of golf growing through the years because, man, our ratings for the Players' Championship were incredible.
Congratulations.
All the golf ratings. Thank you. I mean, but I think it's also the golf world out there is just loving the sport. And I think we're getting a lot of, new people watching thanks to you guys. And I think it's awesome. And I think it's showing.
Well, it is. There's such a boom in participation's up 40% or something since COVID. But even those first couple of years after, we didn't necessarily see it right away. I feel like in the ratings, and there's so many things for people to occupy their brains with now from an entertainment standpoint of different streaming services, whatever it might be. I think it's getting harder and harder at times to get people to lock into live television. It's like you need to be ready at this time. And Kiz was sending us a bunch of the screenshots. I saw a bunch of it over social. You guys at NBC Golf over the last several tournaments and events, your ratings have just been through the roof. They've been phenomenal, and the broadcast has been great. So I feel like it's very earned. Like you guys really earned this through putting so much effort into it, and it's not just a result of like the COVID boom. I think there was a little bit of a lag time in converting a lot of the people playing golf to like getting them to sit down and watch golf on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon. And you guys have clearly done a great job.
I appreciate that. And we've had some great finishes. I think that helps. I mean, you never know. I mean, 6-shot blowouts are no fun for anybody, but we've had this incredible drama coming down the last couple holes and in all three of our 6 in a row that we've done. And CBS's ratings were great. I mean, They've got an incredible swing out there with those iconic venues that they have on the West Coast. So golf is going like this, and I just hope that we get the whole PGA Tour schedule worked out to where we continue on this kind of ascent. And I was impressed with Brian Rolap. I had a chance to talk to him while we were at the Players' Championship, and I think he really is the perfect guy.
Yeah, he was good up there. He was good up there in the booth, I thought.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. He's very direct. There's no BS in him. He just answers questions. If he doesn't know, he doesn't know. And I think he's earned the respect of a lot of the players. I mean, that's what I've heard, and that always helps. He listens to them. It's not like, oh, we got this. He's listening to the players very carefully and wants to implement their wishes. And because he's not a golf guy, he hasn't been. He's learning,
right?
And so he's learning what they like, what they don't like, and I think he's been very impressive so far.
Yeah, it's exciting times. Exciting times for you guys. I think the future's bright for the PGA Tour, for golf in general. So hopefully that's good for us too. But we really do appreciate the time, Dan. Like I said, it's cool, like iconic voice on here, and hearing you talk through some of the moments and what goes on behind the scenes is really, really cool for the audience. So we appreciate the time, my friend.
Pretty surreal to hear you just talk here. It's just like from TV.
It's awesome.
Thank you. Take good care of my man there, Kiz. I know you will.
Yeah.
We'll do our best.
Hey, Dan, I'm going to get all the boys, hopefully U.S. Open, come do a big Barstool production to show off what we do behind the scenes.
Oh, I would love that.
Sam Flood's all in on it, so I think
that would be great.
Yeah,
and and Riggs, your comments about what we do and how hard it is those were really well taken, because that's I don't think a lot of people kind of realize the behind the scenes stuff and how hard we're trying to make the broadcast right. Kiz has now got a front row seat to it. We're trying to make it look as good as possible. Sometimes we screw up. Sometimes we don't get on who we want at the right exact time. But the chaos in the truck, the challenge of covering a sport that is spread out over all these acres is tough. So I appreciate your comments, and then I really welcome you guys to kind of hang out, and especially at a U.S. Open where the big circus is in town. at an iconic venue like Shinnecock. It could be very cool. So we'd love to see you.
God, we got to do that. Those production trucks and how many screens are going on and who's making the calls on where to send it. And then you guys in real time having to be so nimble to be able to call whichever clip they throw it to. I know it was a while ago, but the Tiger 2008 putt, I'm glad you talked about a lot of the aftermath, because I'll never forget that they did show that like super close up camera. And as Johnny was talking about it rolling and bouncing, and then it lips in, he goes, "Oh man, that goes in by a fraction of an inch." And then you're like, "It's Tiger Woods. Of course it lipped in." And it's like, you guys are saying that off the cuff. Like you didn't know they were going to go to that clip. That's 30 seconds after
we're letting Tommy, he's like, "Take one, ready." He's got all the machines and all that. And he's looking at kind of what they're selling to him. And then he just knows, the order in what to do all these replays, and all the good producers do that. But I think Tommy Roy in the moment is as good as I've ever worked with. He's sensational.
Wow. That's what it takes. That's what it takes. Well, you guys are doing a great job. We really appreciate the time.
We got to get Dan the last hole of the Internet Invitational and get him to announce it as if it was. We should have, without him knowing what happened, like live. That would have been unreal to pull off. We have to do that next time.
We should.
Sign me up.
We 100% should.
Dude, that's so funny. Just like how much chaos ensued with actually having like the voice of golf calling it. That's be so good.
We should do that. Well, just send him the clip. Send him like a 15-minute clip of the final hole. We'll get
Kiz on that because it's so good. You guys send him like who the characters are, who's playing, and then you just give him the information of who the players are. I think it's going to be an all-time clip.
I'll show it to him this weekend.
Yeah.
There you go.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
All right, thanks again. This was awesome. Like such an honor for us to be able to actually speak to you. So great meeting you.
I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys having me, and really, we'll do it again later on.